5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome inside Lecom Harbor Center for the final game of the Prospects Challenge version 2023. Dan Dunleavy along with Chris Baker and a gentleman really that we can only call a pioneer.
A pioneer.
I'm a pioneer.
A pioneer for what he has accomplished in his National Hockey League career, and for all the laughter we're having about it here before we has hot mics,
I love
live
that
mics.
man, whoever he was.
Yeah, we. You were a pioneer, so that's good.
Yeah.
And tell the story,
I'm
right?
a lumberjack too. You know, I love cutting things with chainsaw and axe and all that kind of thing. So
Yeah.
that's
what I did all
around.
All day yesterday, I did that. I'm not even sorry. You'd
All
be
around,
proud of me.
all around.
right. So to not leave
I'm just the perfect male.
to not.
Like just.
I didn't want to say anything, but
There's
yes.
a band with a song that I can't say right now, and you know what it is,
Yes.
and it's going to be your theme song right now. So, just to let our viewers and listeners in, Rob standing here, and these thousands of fans come up for an autograph, a picture, and he handles it very well all the time. About that, I'm serious. But this gentleman came up and started telling Rob about a story written about him and Marty and something about the Buffalo Sports Hall of Fame. And he said, laugh all you want, but I'll tell you what, not many guys play in a town for their entire career, and they actually are the reason for a rule change in the game in which they play, which you never would have dreamt of when you're a little kid. You're just dreaming of maybe playing in the NHL, not any rule ever being altered for what it was you did in the game. So it's pretty cool, and that's how the Pioneer tag came here in the last few minutes, and Rob was very excited about that. So
There's a man there that's going to deliver a passionate speech to a Hall of Fame committee one day on Rob's behalf, though, I would say. I think we just got a rehearsal of that speech.
Yeah, we need a little work on that.
good. All right.
Anyways, Dan.
Speaking of work, there are some Sabres players who have done well in this tournament that will not work today. They've had a workout, I'm sure, off ice. But they're not going to work today, Rob, because the real work starts for them. I'm not saying this wasn't real work, but let's say the next step starts for them tomorrow. So take us into the mind of a player when you're showing up for first day of physicals and meetings and knowing that the next day is when you're on the ice and you're going 100 miles an hour.
And you're there with the big guys. You're not there with all the young kids.
Yeah.
This is a totally different thing. These guys coming in, and they're still kind of a, you know, we're in that dressing room. It's kind of, if you're a first rounder, you got a little more clout in there, you know, and it depends on what you've accomplished, where you've played, you know, to the level of, you know, the seniority within the group. All of a sudden, this is left behind today. You step across the street with the big guys, and you're that little kid again. And you've got to prove to everybody that you deserve to be there. You got to show them all we can do. You got to try to fit in. You got to try to, you know, be friends with these guys and all the little things that you got to do to make that next step. But for the kids that aren't playing today, that are moving on to the big camp, awesome. That's great. You got time to get ready. The other kids here, this is their last time, maybe some of them to leave an impression with their team, here to see what possibly can happen. There's a lot of kids here, too, that aren't signed, that may be signed, because there's another 500 scouts within this building from all other teams taking a look at these guys. And it could open up a lot of doors for them, so it's their last chance to kind of leave in that impression.
So, Chris, that said, you can list off the names of the guys that are not in the lineup, the scratches that we will be watching very closely once camp does begin, when they take to the ice after their physicals are done tomorrow.
Yeah, so the Sabres going with a little bit of a different look tonight. You know, up top, keeping Benson Savoy and Philip Cederquist together, but that's with coming out of the lineup, some of those players that Rob just described. Yuri Kulik will not be playing tonight. Isak Rosane will not be playing tonight. Two guys that played a lot of hockey last year with Rochester, got the summer off at development camp. They're getting a little bit of a break going into training camp. Joining them on the scratches for tonight, Alexander Kisakov, Viktor Nyichev, and of course, Vsevolod Komarov, who has not played here while nursing a lower body injury. But to Rob's point, Dan, I think some of these players, whether it's going and opening their game up to other scouts in the building, regardless of what happens, a lot of these players are going to take this experience back to their junior teams.
Yes.
And the game's going to be slower, and they're going to have some momentum and coming off a nice high of being in an NHL environment, and they should just get their seasons off to a good start when they go back
I think you would be amazed how it can affect a young man being here just for the week, even if it's just a week, getting and playing these games for his mindset going into entering a year. He's going to know what to work on. He's been talking to the coaches all week. They're good communication of, physically, mentally, his game, you know, a lot of things, you know, being thrown at him at once, but he rolls back to wherever he goes, whether it's junior or whatever he's going to play next year, and the confidence is through the roof. And this kid will be on top of his game for a while, and then he'll kind of settle down and, you know, get into the routine of you know, whatever team he's playing with. So I just think it's such a great opportunity to give these kids a little boost, a little shot in the arm. The younger the possible, you know, and it gives them a chance to you know, feel good about themselves, roll into something, and then they know a little better when they come back how to be prepared.
Chris, 30 seconds to give us maybe one or two names in the Penguins lineup here that our viewers / listeners might want to say this is somebody I could maybe just watch for a little bit.
Yeah, I think, you know, students of the game should be watching Braden Yeager tonight. He's going to be wearing 62 in white for the Penguins, first-round pick. Coming out of Moose Jaw in the Western Hockey League, a fantastic two-way player, strong. He's always on the right side of his man, very good defensively, and watch him play. He's a dual threat playmaker and shooter for the Penguins.
Yep.
And also Sam Poulin is kind of interesting up top. He was a first-round pick in 2019. He's getting his game reset after a strong year last year, took a mental health break, but he is a power forward, shutdown guy, another very smart player for Pittsburgh in their system.
Thank you for that. Time now for the Canadian and American National Anthem. Ever think of singing the anthem just once in your life?
No.
Malcolm Subban style? Just walk out there, shock the world?
I do it sometimes when I'm at home and they're doing it.
I do it too, and I always wonder, could I?
Around and
Yeah.
just
All the time in the
and
shower.
I think I'm doing really well at it.
All the time in the shower.
You sing the anthem in the shower. Is
I
this an
know,
everyday thing?
I do the Austrian, the Czech national anthem. I got them all, baby.
Wow. You had me for a moment
Yeah.
believing that the story was part true. All right, so we got the Penguins and the Sabres. And Razor, keep a good eye on these Penguins players. There's no numbers on the arms of them. So once they skate past us in one direction, we might lose them.
I got them.
Laundry day for the Penguins, maybe, going with their practice whites.
All right, their top line's out there right now, and the same for the Sabres. Savoy, Benson, and Cedarquist, and away we go. Buffalo Sabres with Chandrik and Novikov on the back end to start it off. Working from left to right. Up against Poulin, Joshua, and Svechkovsky for the Penguins. And the latter mentioned, Svechkovsky looking to center in front, and Joshua got a stick on that one. Ratzlaff, the goaltender for the Sabres, and that is Savoy that is down behind the Buffalo net.
Yeah, it's not good. He's holding his shoulder. He went on into the boards on that initial rush, and he is bent over holding that looks like his left shoulder.
Was it shoulder for him before, wasn't it?
Yes, in his draft year.
Yeah.
That's what set him back in the playoff series in his draft year.
So a lot of fingers are crossed right now.
Yeah, right
Absolutely.
now you don't want to see that in this situation here. You want to, but anyways, Pittsburgh ended up scoring a goal on that play as well after he was down and out behind the net. Everybody kind of staring at him, not paying attention to the guys in front, and Pitt buries their first goal of the game.
Play did go on while Savoy was down behind the net. Now Savoy for Buffalo will flip it the length of the ice, and we will have an icing call.
Yeah, it was almost like he went into the end wall, and everybody kind of realized it because you heard him yell, and they kind of stopped and were taking a look at him, where Pittsburgh just kept rolling, and you know, they were able to put it into the net. But I could see why they were concerned for him. Hopefully,
yeah, hope, that's all you can do is hope right now.
Yeah, you just hope. You don't know, so.
I've only had one stinger in my life, and that's not from a hockey hit along the board, so I can't even imagine what
you keep it up, you're going to have a lot more.
Those feel like. Well, standing next to you in the booth, there's been a couple of shots, that's for sure. Penguins on the back end, St. Ivany out of Manhattan Beach, California, where Razor likes to work out. Every time
you just said that, it reminded me of something, and I'm like, just be quiet, be quiet.
More of a Muscle Beach guy, that Razor.
Nadeau gets hammered into the boards down to the other end as well.
Yeah, he's slowly getting up, shaking his head, and heading to the bench here now as well.
Yeah.
You can't. The thing is here, it's the last game, and it's, you know, you're moving to big camp tomorrow, but you just can't take your foot off the pedal here, and that's when you get hurt. So you got to make sure you're intent, stay into this game, because it's not a good time to be banged up.
Cole Moberg with that hit, North Vancouver, BC, native 6'3", 187. Slager trying to answer with some physicality for the Sabres as they're onto the attack here. Metza from the line, shot bounces into the slot, never got to the net. Knocked down on the play was Damien Giroux back into the lineup. Lawson Shirk and Graham Slager. Ridley, Fiddler, Schultz, and Dominic Mersch. And the Sabres dressing 7 defensemen for this one. And now, of course, with a forward out as well, there will be a little extra ice time to be shared around. Here's Benson racing after it. Goaltender sweeps it around the other side. Joel Blomqvist, Finnish goaltender. Played with Karpat in Liga last year. You perhaps, Chris, maybe saw a game or two that he's played over his career to this point.
Highly decorated Finnish junior goalie. Goalie of the year a couple years ago in the under 20 league. Had the highest save percentage in Liga 2 seasons ago. Coming over for his first year of North American hockey here with a pretty nice resume.
How do you know all this stuff?
I watch
like, you don't even have a note in front of you.
Razor's not visited the bunker yet, obviously.
Oh, he's more than welcome. I got to clean it up, though, before he gets over. It's a mess.
Sorry, I just been to Paul's house. He's used to
it. That's a mess.
Penguins trying to keep the Sabres hemmed in here once again with a 1-0 lead. Shots at 2 apiece. And the concern is for Matt Savoy, who is down in the Sabres locker room after taking a hit against the end boards. Looked to be favoring his shoulder, but we're not in a rush to get any news on him, but just to let you know if you thought he was playing when you were tuning in. Here's Panoka taking a bump as he tries to make his way out of the corner. Benson down low as he always is to help out, and that shot tipped just wide as the Penguins driving the front of the Sabres net. And we get a whistle at the line. So, yes, this has been a bumpy ride here to start in the first 3.5 minutes or so.
Sabres is not in sync. You look at them, they're not skating the way they did the first 2 games. They're not coming up with speed. They're going side to side. They're looking with the puck instead of getting the Pittsburgh Penguins backed off a little bit. You know, all the things they did really well in those first 2 games, they just haven't got it rolling here in the first few minutes of this one.
Face off just ahead of the Penguins' blue line. It'll be Graham Slaggert to take the draw for Buffalo. Cederquist lining up on one side and Miedema the other. Face off drawn all the way back into the Buffalo zone. Ratzlaff glancing over the left shoulder at the far post, and now it's Miedema to center. Onto the wing, Slaggert, right side, but the entry, Cederquist ahead of the play, and Slaggert after the play took a shot as well. And the linesman and the referee having a conversation with the Penguins player.
Yeah, you don't normally see a Penguins team being chippy and aggressive and, I'm not saying dirty, but just sneaky out there, just giving shots, trying to get you off your game a little bit. So,
well, given the 2 gentlemen,
it's a little something new.
Given the 2 gentlemen who were in charge until this past offseason, you might have thought that's who the kind of players they were looking for. And I know that Ron Hextall did sign a couple of these guys. I think Jagr might have been one that he signed in the entry-level contract. You can correct me if I'm wrong on that for what it's worth. Here's Lee for the Penguins.
Yeah, longtime Amber Kevin Porter coaching the Pittsburgh team here this afternoon.
Play down in the corner in the Buffalo zone. Miedema firing it up the boards. This will go to the length of the ice, and an icing call coming up here against the Sabres.
No, and on that note, 23 in white, Jagger Joshua, he's definitely of that chippy variety. Very hard-hitting, very physical forward coming out of Michigan State.
92 penalty minutes last year in collegiate hockey.
Yeah, that's a big number.
Yeah, just for collegiate hockey.
He's a power forward, intimidating presence. He's one of those players that the Sabres are going to have to keep an eye on tonight when he comes in on the forecheck. He's going to bear down on those defensemen and look to finish every play off.
Miedema trying to find Cederquist at center ice, but backtracking is Jagr for the Penguins.
Oh, you got him.
Slide it again, and Hood over the line. Drops it off. That's off the post. Hayes let it go, and the Sabres counter with 3 back the other way. 2 Penguins back. Nadeau over the right side, skating towards the middle lane. The Penguins collapse just in time to break that one up. Benson, good defensive play on Hood coming back. Johnson, that one's up into the air across ice. Kozak can't knock it down. And we get a whistle there. Speaking of Kozak, he has drawn accolades from many, and including you, Chris.
Yeah, he's just been really good, you know, and this was a player that, you know, is well documented, did a lot of work with Michael Pekka last year in Rochester, and you can actually see that work coming out in Kozak's game, especially when he comes back here for a second professional season. Throughout the first 2 games, I thought he's been excellent with the puck, but more importantly, off the puck. His back-checking routes are superb. He's cutting guys off at the boards. He's keeping plays going in the offensive zone. He's just doing a lot of things right here heading into training camp.
Yeah, very smart listening to Michael Pekka. And anytime you got an opportunity to learn from a guy like that, you take advantage. And, you know, sometimes that's the way you can judge a kid. If he's willing to learn and take something from a guy like Michael Pekka, then, you know, he's understanding what he needs to do, and that's a good one.
Seems to be a sponge.
Play in behind the Sabres goal is Cooper Foster for the Penguins, trying to dig it free, but a nice job down low there by Lindgren, and the Sabres are on their way to center with Nadeau carrying the puck, playing it onto the wing, rest of the way chipped down deep into the Penguin zone, but it's all white jerseys down around that puck for now as the Sabres are making changes and just getting onto the ice. Fiddler, Schultz and company on the right side. You won't get the puck back from Donovan Hirsch, and it's dumped into the Buffalo zone. Pressure on Lindgren. That time from Soto. Another big hit over in that far corner. Penguins get it back to the line, and that shot is stopped. Justin Lee wearing the number 32 for the Penguins, testing Scott Ratzlaff.
Good to see Ratzlaff come out to the top of the crease there and just feel one into his body. You know, I thought he kind of fought it a little bit, Razor, on Friday night. You know, pucks were dropping in front of him. He didn't, you know, he made some saves, but he wasn't always sure of where it was. You want to see him just kind of steady. He hasn't been overplaying. I think his movement's good. You just want to see him be a little more crisp.
No, they have
tonight.
put a couple high here, though, early in this game. And one went off the bar. The other one just missed that he wasn't able to get to. So, Yeah, you'd like to see him maybe get a little more aggressive here as this game goes on.
Nice stick by Giroux there in the slot, denying that shot from following through on Ratzlaff. Penguins out of the corner trying to work it to the front of the net. Sabres able to break it up. Giroux off the boards and out. And Justin Lee from Manitoba in possession of the puck for the Penguins as they get it to the Sabres line. It's broken up. Nice chip by Slager to himself down the right side. He's got 2 to the front of the net, but he's being hounded as he tries to make a play on the puck. Cedarquist drops it off, and that shot is stopped at the far post by Blomqvist. And the Sabres showing up here on the doorstep after the way this game started. Trying to make an impression of their own with a little bit of lean in their game.
Yeah, I think trying to just get a little bit of a spark here, and I think you're probably hearing that a little bit from the coaches on the bench here. You got to get yourselves rolling, guys. It's up to you. There's nothing we can do in this situation. Get yourself going, and whether that's going out and getting a little push and shove in there, yelling, screaming a little bit, you got to get your feet rolling here, because for the first 5 minutes of this game, feet not moving that we're accustomed to seeing.
Off the draw, Penguins will move it past Shuriken out. And the bouncer just inside the Buffalo line. Nice job by Jandrick to play that puck ahead of the oncoming Penguins forward. That was Jagger Joshua. Pittsburgh back in their own zone. Try to feed it to center, looking for Joshua. He's cut off, and now Benson from behind his own net. He'll leave it there. He drew immediate attention from Sam Poulin, who's gone to the bench for Pittsburgh. 1-0 Penguins. First period of play. Well, lob pass almost fell right off the Penguins player's glove for Niedema. Now the Sabres work it in front. Niedema got a stick on that one. It looked like he had a chance short side there, but it was stopped by Blomqvist.
Yeah, nice job just getting himself established in front there. That puck was bouncing a little bit, but he good hand-eye there that he's able to pull it to the front and give himself the opportunity. But Blomqvist does a nice job just staying close to the post there, and he followed it straight across. He only had about a foot working room in front. It's pretty difficult to take the shot or get it through a hole there. The point is just being there and trying to make it a little more difficult on the goaltender.
Niedema 6'4", 210, so we can use all of that. Still on the ice with his line mates. Johnson to the point, snaps a pass across. Savoy's shot doesn't get through, but he keeps it in at the line. Dumps it down to the corner, back after it is St. Ivany for the Penguins. He'll continue to carry before he plays it onto the wing left side for Hood, who gains the line. Dumps it in around Johnson, who's got support from Savoy. Penguins create a turnover near the front of the Sabres net, but a good stick there, able to break it up by Fiddler Schultz. And he stopped at center ice, a little nudge. And it's still chipped deep into the Pittsburgh zone. Nadeau is bumped off the play. Comes back to Nadeau in the corner. Trying to find Dominic Mersch. Comes back to the line. Lindgren shot low along the ice in a pad save, and a rebound covered up by Blomqvist. Good second chance for Buffalo off of that shot. As you mentioned many times, it does not have to be hard, but it hit the goaltender right in the pads, creating chance number 2.
No, and that's one thing you try to preach to young defensemen. Just get the puck through. They all want to take the high shot. They want to slap her hard. You know, it's got to go high off the bar and all that kind of thing. It's actually even better if you just take that shot and it's about a foot or two off the ice where somebody can deflect it, or the goaltender's not going to be able to handle it there. And a lot of the times, if you just take that nice little shot, the bottom will drop out by the time it gets to the net, and the goaltender has a heck of a time trying to judge it.
Cedarquist trying to dig it to the corner, and he does. Slagged in behind the net, trying to center, but that one is blocked. And Calvert for the Penguins out of the corner with a double team on him, able to play it up the wall. Pittsburgh get it to center, bouncing puck into the Buffalo zone, and Slaggert's got it on the right side. He'll dump it into the Pittsburgh territory. Blomqvist behind the net, plays it around to the corner. Lee trying to move it out. Giroux there for Buffalo. And Foster will get it up ahead for the Penguins. Bring it in, a delayed penalty coming up here. It's going to Buffalo.
Little reach in with the stick there by Zach Metza is going to land him in the box.
He's going to call this a tripping call, but I'm not too sure about that one. But nevertheless, it probably was a penalty of some sort. And the Sabres going to have to kill here with 11:24 left in this first period, being down 1.
Can you call 2 minutes for falling?
Yeah, well, he just kind of, I don't know. Sometimes those calls are in the middle of 2 or 3 different things that you could judge it off, but nevertheless. But it just looks like Pittsburgh's having a lot of success here taking the puck wide and challenging the Sabres D right now. And, you know, Sabres D are allowing them to get deep and a lot of the time getting to that goal line. And once they get below that goal line, that's when everybody else starts filtering behind, and that's where that pass can happen. They got to be a little more aggressive. Start stopping them at the top of the circle instead of letting them down to the goal line.
Svechkovsky playing back at the point, at least on the faceoff there for the Penguins as they try to load up the power play, but the Sabres do a good job. And down the ice, Kozak ushers the puck. And the Penguins back deep into their own end to restart. Andre Anania of Richmond Hill, Ontario will get the Penguins going to Hood on the left side. Panoka stays with him, knocks him to the ice.
That was a referee. That was a great hit.
Referee just
linesman just
I missed him. He just got up.
Number 27 rubbing his leg there, but great hit.
The linesman did what you just described the Sabres need to do. Cut him off.
Penguins back to center this time. Poulin on the left side. He's got one in the slot, tipped right on, and Slager with a rebound. He's got to cover that up, but it's behind the net. Penguins try to get back on it again, and they do. Svechkovsky brings it up to the point. Far circle. Now on the boards, surveying into the slot, and that goes off the heel of the stick to the near boards. Svechkovsky again with a shot, and that one is blockered away by Retzlaff. Penguins power play with 43 seconds still left to work. Right on, stopped by Retzlaff, and the rebound he will cover up as Svechkovsky was right on the doorstep with that deflection.
Yeah, good decision there, just covering the puck. The D kind of pushed it to him. Johnson, I think it was, just allowing him to get his glove on it to slow the pace down. Pittsburgh on a good roll there, kept the puck the outside, created a couple of really nice opportunities. And at one point, Fleming's laying on the ice. He's got his hands out thinking that he had the puck, and Pittsburgh had it off over to the side of the net. So
yeah, twice in that sequence. Didn't know where it was.
Yeah, you didn't know.
Sabres now with Giroux able to get it outside the line. Again, shorthanded for 29 more seconds. That shot goes off the glass. Good pressure along the wall. Buffalo will keep possession back inside their own zone. Up to center, Giroux with 15 seconds left to kill here for Buffalo. Penguins up by a score of 1-0. Shots fairly even at 7-6 in favor of Pittsburgh. And the power play for the Penguins is about to expire. Metsä out of the box as the door opens, and Buffalo back to full strength as Retzlaff in the corner. Panoka nudged down to the ice. Benson is down low as always. Playing a full-length game, and now he'll carry it up into the offensive zone. Nice pass to the far side. Chris Jandrick carrying it in behind the net. Benson try to get it back to Jandrick. Here's a chance. Savoie with a shot, and out to challenge Blomqvist. And he keeps it at a 1-0 game.
Yeah, Glover come out there and does a nice job getting his body in front of that shot and deflected it up high. Helping out his goaltender a little bit there, but this is where the Sabres just get in there, get it in the zone, get it deep, and start establishing a few shots here. Just start getting the puck to the net. They've only got 6 shots to the net. Pittsburgh's only got 7 to this point, but thing is, just get those shots, get them running around a little bit, just get yourself going here.
Nadeau on the draw. Miedema reaching for the loose puck. It's played to the near wall. Panoka comes down into the corner, battling with St. Ivany. And the Penguins will get it outside the line. Chance for a good rush for Foster down the left side. He'll drop it back, and a great stick by Benson. Read it all the way, breaks it up, feeds it for Nadeau down the wing left side. Nadeau, he's got Benson in front, tried to get him the puck. And it stays on his stick on the near wall. Nadeau for Benson again. That is tipped to the corner by St. Ivany. And Malberg picks it up now for Pittsburgh, and he'll skate it up towards center ice before he lifts it into the Buffalo zone. Retzlaff is happy that was not on net as he waved the stick at it, hopped right over top.
Benson atoning there for the turnover in the offensive zone by making that nice play in the defensive zone on that last sequence.
Lee back after it for Pittsburgh into the corner. He's bothered, and the Sabres forcing the Penguins to whip that puck down the ice. Penguins will get on it first, send it down towards the goal. They've got a man open in front right now as kept to the outside. Now up top, there's nowhere for Lee to go in that moment. He'll spin it past to the far point. That's blocked in front. And Buffalo comes back with a potential 3-on-2. Shirk drops it back. Shot steered away. And Pittsburgh out of the corner, can't clear it out. That comes to the front of the net, but no harm. Buffalo changing, and Joshua can't knock down that long lead pass. Kozak behind the net quickly leaves it for Johnson. Johnson's pass up the wall right side. Cedarquist trying to work it around the Penguins player at the blue line. And Isaac Beliveau, and we get a whistle. 7:09, first period remaining, 1-0 Pittsburgh. I will take this chance to tell our viewers that they can stream live games with MSG Plus, free with an eligible TV subscription. Monthly, annual, and per game plans are available today. All you have to do is go to msgplus.tv and you can learn more about how to stream live games this upcoming season. Last game of the tournament right here. Hood down the left wing side, chips it into Buffalo territory. Savoie plays it, far boards, not out. That's going up into the air. It settles in the near boards. Johnson tried to get a stick on it. Hayes chipped it down to the corner to Cedarquist now. Tried to spin it out on the backhand. That is kept in, and Hood plays it around him. Johnson chips it for Savoie in the far corner. He sees the hit coming. Kozak is given a nudge, but he plays it ahead, and Slaggert chips it outside the zone. So that line of Hood, Yeager, and Hayes made it pretty clear how they were going to play that shift for the Penguins. It's been their MO for the entire first period, and turnovers for the Sabres here.
No look passes, backhand no look passes, especially coming out of your own zone. It's really kind of hurt the Sabres here in this first period so far.
Miedema down in the Pittsburgh zone along with Benson. Picked up by Calvert. Calvert takes a return pass from Foster and then lost it as the Sabres gather it back again at center. Benson stick lift, has it taken away. Foster trying to feed it through. Looking for Nemestikov. It comes to the far side where Aguilar plays it halfway down the wall before Buffalo gets it back again. 5.5 to go here in the opening period. Brian Duff and Marty Baron coming up at the intermission. They'll give their thoughts on this first 20 minutes of play, and the Penguins on the attack again. Ty Glover starts it off. Almost gets a second chance at it. Puck rolls right back to him in front of the net. Back to Lee at the point. His shot goes harmlessly wide. Aguilar comes down from the point. Shot blocked, doesn't get through. Potential break here, and we have one for the Sabres. Shirk trying to get to the net. Everyone looking around to see if an arm's going up on this one. And we do get a whistle and a call.
I don't think it was on the initial
No,
play.
I don't think so.
No, it's something that happened over on the far side.
Delay a game. Did he play the puck with a hand?
I don't know what a hand swing means.
Yeah, maybe he closed his hand on the puck, perhaps?
That's what I'm
He just
thinking.
looked like he swung it. I
He
don't
must
know.
have grabbed the puck and threw it.
Yeah. But I think that was Benson who sent that headman up to, was that Fiddler Schultz on that opportunity.
Yeah,
But no, you're right, Rob, about the turnovers we were talking about. But up until that last point, because that was Ethan Miedema who made the last one here in the Sabres defensive zone. They were trying to break out. Miedema's had a good period outside of that turnover. One of the bigger bodies. It's been a fixture in front of the net, even high in the slot, getting shots off, finding space to get some shots off. So I've liked this game thus far.
Oh, no. He's getting the opportunity here in this first power play as well. So it's going to be the big body in front. But when a guy like that, you get your chances, don't try to do too much sometimes. Make sure you just simplify things and do whatever you got to do it well.
First power play, Slaggert. Now Benson walks in, tried to feed that through traffic. Lindgren jumps down to the corner. Lindgren scored the first goal of the Prospects Challenge for the Sabres against the Montreal Canadiens a few nights ago, before our friend Chris Baker was hanging out in his hammock yesterday on a day off.
Oh, beautiful day in the hammock. Beautiful day in the hammock.
More hammock stories to come. Benson up to center ice as he tries to get it across the line. Slaggert keeps it onside. Cedarquist down the right side, now near the front of the net, but he's going to have to backtrack as the Penguins are able to chip it out and down the ice. As Hood races after it. Up ice with Beliveau, who will drop back. When you're calling a hockey game, announcing a hockey game, who doesn't want to say the name Beliveau? It just fits the sport for obvious reasons. Sabres back in possession with Metsä trying to turn away from Hayes. And this power play's got 39 seconds left to give this team an opportunity to even the score. Jandrek carries over the line right into traffic, and that is sent back down the ice. So Buffalo looking for a spark here, and it's, again, without the likes of Kulich, Kisakov, Rosean, and Neuchev, who would normally see some of this kind of power play time. So as Razor mentions, it's opportunity time now, and maybe the last chance for some players to really shine with this extra ice time. 3 minutes left in the opening period. Power play expires. Sabres in possession. Down low, work it to the front of the net. And the rebound is covered up by Blomqvist.
No, you're 100% right. Having guys out of the lineup, it is opportunity, but you have to take advantage of that and say, I'm going to be the guy. I know what those guys were in the first few games. Those guys, you know, they opened things up. They got things rolling. They got teams backed up. They had puck possession. And all those things that they did, I got to do that now. Yeah. So there's got to be a couple of these guys step up, and they're being challenged. That's why you take them out of the lineup to see. It's easy when other guys are doing it. It's easy to fall behind. But if you take them out of the lineup, okay, let's see if there's anybody else here that's got it inside them that they can step up and take charge like that. Yeah. And do those little things. So,
and the likes of Kulich and Rosean, as we know, they played together in Rochester in those situations. Now you got guys who have not played together. And Chris, we see situations like we did. I'm going to say, just throw out there that on the power play where you see some guys carrying it into 3 coverage and there's no passing. You've basically put yourself into a position where you took away every passing lane on your own, trying to do too much. Penguins now back into their own end. And Anya in behind the goal. Moberg looking over here on the left side. That's going to slide too far, and the Sabres will say thank you for that. Novikov now will play it up the boards. Slaggert, did he get a piece of that one? No, he did not. And it's an icing call.
And I think to Rob's point, too, about opportunity. Sabres came in it tonight with just 11 forwards dressed. Now they're down to 10, and with Savoy getting out. Yep. In theory, it creates more opportunity for more players here as he shuffle lines.
Well, the greatest thing, Chris, is getting into the game more. You know, as a player sitting there and only going every 4th shift or something like that, it's hard to get yourself going. Now there's a shorter bench. It gives you more opportunity. Gets you more opportunity to get your head into it, get your legs going. Yep. And, you know, you have a bad shift, bang, you're right back at it. You don't have to sit there and think about it. If you have a good shift, bang, you're right back out feeling good about yourself. So opportunity's there. They just got to step up and take charge of it.
Just seize it, right?
Cederquist drove off Aguilar to create some space, but then the second wave of coverage for the Penguins was there, and the shot deflects out of play. One thing you have to give the Penguins credit for is that there's not been a lot of room for Buffalo to do much of anything here in the first period. You got to create. I get it, but the Penguins give them credit. They're standing up here.
Well, yeah, I think so. I mean, but also, you know, the Sabres aren't doing themselves any favors not getting some traffic in front of Blomqvist. He's seen pretty much every shot that's been sent his way, and he's a very good seasoned goaltender. They have to make his life a little more difficult if they're going to get one past him here.
Penguins lifted out and down the ice.
But it's all little things. It's all little things that they could go in there between periods, and coaches pointed out, and it comes back in the second period, totally different team. So it's easily adjusted stuff.
Ratzlaff with a big stop there on the Mestikov, one-on-one with the Sabres goaltender, and he looks solid on that one.
Stayed with him all the way to the blocker side, stuck the shoulder out, made the save. That was a nice stop there. Again, Ratzlaff kind of settled in after that opening goal, where I think, again, up to Razor's point earlier, I think a lot of folks were looking at Savoy down on the ice and just while that was going on, and everyone was just kind of, hey, we're just getting into the game. It was 30 seconds into the game.
Yeah, only one thing mattered in that moment, and that was what's wrong with our prospect in number 93. Meet him out there, trying to play the body a little bit on St. Ivany. 1:20 left in this opening period. A little bit quieter of a building here, not just because of the score, but for the news we mentioned. Penguins looking to the right side on entry. Joshua over here on the left side won't need to get to that puck. Rebound to St. Ivany. Stick breaks up his shot attempt, but he keeps possession down to the corner. Lindgren thrown to the ice by Joshua, but in the eyes of the referee, that was illegally done, and it's a power play coming up for Buffalo. 53.3 seconds left in the opening period.
Another strong stop there by Retzlaff coming out on a point-blank shot. He looks a little more confident there. Look, we just talked about he's really settled in. Now it's time to maybe use that confidence, send a wave out to the rest of the team and get the offense going here. Sabres not stretching it out like they've been the past two games. Yeah. I don't know if you noticed that. You know, I don't know if they were trying to break the press by stretching out in the first two games, but they're bringing some of the forwards back a little bit more into the defensive zone now on the breakouts.
Well, they are, because I think there's a lot more pressure here by Pittsburgh, and it's not just gang pressure that they're all swarming. They're taking lanes away. Pittsburgh's doing a nice job taking those lanes away. So when the D or the forwards for the Sabres getting the puck looking up the ice, there's really no real clear spot to put it. So unless you get a couple guys coming high here and getting crisscross, get guys moving a little bit, that's the only way you're going to get that long pass rolling.
So power play working here for Buffalo. Can they even the score before the period ends with 40 seconds to go? Benson up top, plays it for Miedema, left side to the circle, curls away. Benson, top of the zone again. Miedema trying to go cross ice for Lindgren. Benson charged with keeping it in, and he does, away from Hood. That's back up top. Miedema for Lindgren. Lindgren crowded as he tried to make the pass, lost his stick on the play as Poulin. There's that Poulin who lost his stick then, and it's ushered right back into the crowd, which stays along the boards here, down to 7 seconds left in the period. And it is Poulin without the stick. Cederqvist away from Poulin, has the puck, and they run out of time. And the Penguins block the shot anyway, and now after the whistle, St. Ivany, for some reason, took issue with the shot. There was time on the clock for that shot. But it's been a physical first period.
Yeah, they're still not wanting to give it up down there. Benson is definitely one of these guys that he wants to stay in there for the bitter last second, and he's going to push the envelope and try to get things rolling his way. So give him top marks for trying to get things rolling.
100%. The Penguins are rolling, and a little bit of worry for the Sabres right now, and Matt Savoy out of the game early after a hit. Brian and Marty will talk about that coming up with the first intermission from the Com Harbor Center.
First intermission report, and the Penguins are leading the Sabres 1-0 after 20. They've still got a little bit of penalty time on the board, so Buffalo tries to even with the extra man when the second period rolls around. With Marty, I'm Brian, and alongside Director of Player Development, Adam Mayer. How are you, sir?
Everything's good. How you doing, Brian?
Really good, really good. It's been an awful lot of fun. Obviously, tough start here tonight. First minute, and Matt Savoy left, and the Penguins score on the same play. So that's, that's always a risk. But beyond that, what has excited you the most, I guess, about this group this week?
I just think the speed and skill that we played with in the first 2 games, it really stood out. The step that both Yuri and Isaac took from this time last year was great to see, and that's generally how it works, and you'll see that again with a guy like Zach Benson, who will come back next year and take another big step. Not that he doesn't look great, because I think he does, but it's exciting. We have a lot of good young forward prospects, in the first 2 games, and I think on the back end too, we had some guys come in that we're excited about. And, Ryan Johnson, Novikov, players like that we're able to see in a Sabre jersey right now. And it's a fun time.
What is your job like to evaluate, depending on what the other team dresses, right? Like we saw Montreal on Friday, obviously they had some good players and it was a little bit more speed game. Pittsburgh today is dressing 6 AHL players, a little bit heavier physical game. How do you evaluate how the players respond to that compared to a much faster pace like we saw Friday and Saturday?
Yeah, I think, that kind of adversity, whether it's an age gap or, physical, discrepancy right now, because you got, some 23 and 24-year-olds playing against 18-year-olds, you get that in tournaments like this. But, you just really want to see the kids compete, and work to win loose pucks, win races, stuff like that. And, that's the makeup of a good hockey player, is one that competes hard, and you need that, in the regular season and the playoffs. And I think we got a lot of that, so that's good to see.
Earlier this past season, I remember chatting with you one day because you had been on a Western trip and you'd just seen Lindgren. How would you describe kind of his evolution? Because you had a lot of great things to say about him, just how he's open to everything you guys are helping feed him, and still play within his team framework, but he's really growing and taking on an awful lot.
Yeah, he really is. He's a player that, he really wants to work to get better, and he does, all he can. He's worked extremely hard in the weight room this summer. He put on about 10 pounds of muscle and has kept his body fat in a good spot. So you can notice that in battles out there and, in the defensive zone for sure. And that's an area that his coaching staff, particularly in Red Deer and Nathan Page as well, in conjunction with them last year, worked hard to, kind of work on some of the details in Matt's game in the D zone. He's a great skater. He's able to move pucks well and transition up the ice, but being able to use that skating to end plays and, limit his time, on the back end that way, and, have the puck more is what we're looking for, and he's done a nice job there.
So you do player development, obviously, but you were telling me before the game today you got to see Benson a lot in Winnipeg last year because you would go out or watch on tape Savoy, and your job as a player development guy is to be able to help your draft picks. But when there's a guy like Benson that is on the list of many, many teams, and you get to see him, do you already start taking notes last year, seeing him that in case he gets drafted by the Sabres, in case you have to help his transition at some point? So do you watch him just to see what he's got, or you take notes so that you have a roadmap for it, sort of say?
Yeah, well, I think a guy like Zach, a player like Zach, he had such a tremendous year, and he played for a large chunk of that on a line with Matt, and so for sure you're familiar with his game, and you have some of your amateur scouts, if you're at the game alone, may call you up and just ask your opinion on the player, and but for sure, the qualities that he has, in his hockey sense and his compete level are rare in a young player, that I haven't really seen in a long time. And he's they worked well together, him and Matt, last year, and they had a terrific year, both of them. So. Yeah.
Do you want to know what name Marty brought up?
Oh, I told him already today.
Yeah,
I said he's a little Pepe Le Pew, Claude Lemieux.
I don't know if it's the hair. That's why it might remind
Maybe it is.
Yeah.
But you know what? I'll tell you this. We were at the Sabres Foundation golf tournament, Duffer and I, today, and how many guys from the Sabres actually came back with long hair? Yeah. Like every single one of them have the long flowy hair.
Yeah, that's
I don't know what it is. That's the thing.
I know the 90s hair, the hockey hair is back in style. It's like the mullets.
It's exactly like it reminds me of like Chris Pronger mullet, back in the days or whatever. Michael Peck had
Did you have it long at one point?
I had it a little longer, yeah.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Scud Missile had the long hair for a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
I did see Baby Pie there, too, so it made me think of pizza.
Oh, that's funny.
And when he called you the Scud Missile and put a Scud Missile in
he was great that way. Everyone had their thing in the training training room, and the characters of hockey. He's great.
It looked like an actual rocket ship, but it was a missile that said Scud 22 on it.
Yeah, going out there to hit people, eh?
That's right.
Well, that's a really good talking point, though, here as far as physicality and what you're actually looking for now, knowing that the game is different than when you were breaking in, but there's obviously still a very physical element that can be had at the right moment. How do you evaluate and look for that in your role and try to maybe encourage more out of certain players in that regard?
I think you got to know your skill set as a player, but like I touched on, being competitive, that doesn't change, and you got to get involved and engage physically, and it doesn't have to be a big hit, but it will involve getting to inside, getting around and competing for pucks, and with that comes being able to face confrontation with the body, and a faster skill player is going to get there first and try to touch those pucks first, and maybe a smaller player is going to work to come through the hands and take away the stick in the hands and win the battle that way. But eventually everything's going to have to gravitate to the net, and there's going to be traffic and people around there, and you want players that are fearless and are willing to do that and get to those areas. So.
What about the power play? The Sabres still have a minute left on their power play here to start the second. They had a power play earlier. Do you look at guys in their positioning on the power play and try to give them help if they're a half-wall guy or top of the blue line or net front presence or a bumper guy? Do you specifically for their position on the power play try to help them in their role and maybe give them, Braden Point is so good on the bumper, so you say, hey, you're a bumper guy, watch Braden Point and send them clips that way? Yeah,
during the year you'll do that for sure, depending on where they are on the power play or particular stuff that's happening 5-on-5 in the game too. You're going to find situations like that in the NHL or in their gameplay, and send them clips and try to help them out or just see the game a little bit differently. And there's that open dialogue with their coaches too, where they're involved. So it's a nice approach to have and a good tool to have, and we do use that. In a tournament like this, the coaching staff for sure is drawing things up and is helping them. But it's so quick and everyone's so new. You're just kind of rough something in place and get pucks and
they didn't get much PP practice.
Vinny didn't get a whole lot of practice on the power play with his guys, and with Isaac and Yuri being out of the lineup today, some other younger players are getting a chance, and Matt now too. So it's good. It's good to see different players in that role, and that's what it's all about.
Well, so you're letting the cat out of the bag. Vinny Prospel is going to be the power play specialist in Rochester.
Yeah. Well, he should be, right?
He should be. I think Sept may have said that before. Pacher is better suited for the PK, and Vinny is better suited for the power play. Yes.
Well, this is the first camp for Miedema after being drafted, and obviously, his size is very, very noticeable out there. And I'm just curious, now that he's in the stables, so to speak, so many kids are drafted for offensive upside, but what do you see in Miedema, since we just had the discussion about physicality and stuff, and what you've seen in this tournament from him already, and whether you think that can be a pretty big part of his overall package?
I talked to him a little bit about that before, after our first couple of practices. It's not so much, running around and hitting guys, but using his frame and his reach to his advantage, whether it's protecting pucks down low or, entering the zone on the rush, keeping it away from defenders and, really, leveraging that area of his game. I think he's done a nice job as the tournament's gone on. You can see he's got a real heavy shot. Once he gets up and moving, he's got very good speed coming at you, and so he's a player with a lot of upside, I think.
Yeah, well, Lee found out the hard way at the end there because he blocked Miedema's shot with maybe no time left on the clock.
Yeah,
so.
And then there was a little kids will be kids in the corner.
Right,
when you come here to Lecom Harbor Center and you walk behind the benches and you go by the Academy of Hockey offices, do you think about all the time we spent in those rooms and video and meetings and getting on the ice and working on edge work with Mike Hansel and all that? Do you go back and think about that?
Absolutely. I mean, I think, it was myself, you, Kevin, Mike.
Jeremiah Crow.
Just how grateful we are to be involved in hockey. Even as it started there, just really grateful for that in my life and to still be around doing, something that I love. And for sure it was fun times and still is.
Still love going out to the plaza or whatever, get the 2 hot dogs and a pop special
that's right,
for $4.50 for lunch. That was great.
Walk back, yeah, right.
And walk back, exactly.
Good stuff. Anything else you want to add about the entirety of the group before we thank you for your time?
No, just that, it's incredible the support that we get, for an event like this from the fans. And, the players commented it all the time and again this year. So it's wonderful, and everyone's really excited for the season to start. And, this is sort of the kickoff for that. So,
did you get to see your boy Jason Spezza? Do you remind him of the old Ottawa brawl?
I didn't mention it to him, but I did see him. Yeah.
He doesn't have Chris Neal around to take care of him, so that's right.
That's awesome. Adam, thank you for doing this,
thanks,
and enjoy the rest of this tournament.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Sounds good, of course.
There he is, Adam Mayer, Director of Player Development, and with it right now, a Sabres deficit after one period of play. 1-0 is the score. Pittsburgh will be shorthanded to start period number 2. Marty, for those that were just joining us here on the feed, it was a really tough opening half minute for Buffalo, to say the least. And, the goal, yes, being scored upon on Ratzlaff on his first sequence, but more so the Savoy injury and what you may have seen on this play as he was backtracking through the middle of the ice toward the goal.
Yeah, so Savoy was coming back as the first back checker, and he was going to the back post because there was a Pittsburgh Penguins player there for the tap in. But he was extending with his left arm, right with his stick. And as there was a play to the back post, there was a collision. He kind of went into the net and started spinning around, and then he went into the wall with his left shoulder down and never got up. And you could see the play was still in the zone, and his left arm was lower. He was on his knees, and he was kind of looking at the referee like, I can't move, I can't move. And unfortunately, the goal went in, and he could never really get his frame back. But I almost feel like when he went into the wall, because he spun around like 360 degrees, he never got his body protected against the wall. Usually players will brace against the wall. They'll know how to get into the wall. They'll protect themselves. He never got to do that. And his left shoulder, left arm really was low and in a vulnerable position when it went into the wall. So it was unfortunate. We did see Savoy leave the ice. We saw Kevin Adams come down from, where the scouts and all the personnel is to go and look at Matt Savoy. So it was scary, but remember a few years back, it was Matthias Samuelsson that blocked a shot here in Prospect Challenge that ended up breaking his hand and missing part of the season. So it does happen. It's unfortunate. I hope that it's not too serious, but it definitely didn't look good for Savoy at that moment.
No, and obviously at this point in time, you could certainly understand not rushing him back if there's anything remotely wrong, right? But the trick is they did start with 11 and 7, and they're down to 10 forwards and 7 defense. So it's been interesting to watch different players who were already going to get different looks tonight and opportunities, but there's even more now. So you're in a deficit position. Some guys are going to get power play time now that was typically afforded to Savoy, Kulik, and Roseanne. So
you're down. Kulik is not playing. Roseanne is not playing. Kisakov and Nurchev are not playing. Those were 4 of the top 6 the last 2 games. So no Savoy. That's 5 of the top 6. So you're going to see people that are going to get a chance to really play more.
All right, 1-0 Penguins after 1. Dan, Razor, and Chris Baker coming up with period number 2 right after this.
Second period about to get underway here in Buffalo, New York. Downtown Buffalo, New York. In a building that was not always here, but now it's here, and every year you have referee clinics, the combine, you have Prospects Challenge,
Junior Sabres hockey.
Junior Sabres
it's a
hockey.
mecca. It's a mecca of the sport.
University
I
hockey.
grace this ice 3 days a week with my
Razor Texas
speed
mail.
Haven't named it after you yet?
Oh,
Well, you're going to the Buffalo Hall of Fame anyway.
Oh,
Your
yeah.
PR
Where is that?
is here.
Pioneer Square.
Oh, here we go.
Jaeger's got a break.
Oh, he
Ratzlaff.
fell.
And he will not get a shot away
Ice
that
is
way.
fresh ice is slippery, son. Be careful.
It's like the turf monster in football.
Yeah, that was Sniper got him there.
Yeah, we talked about fresh ice on the opening night there, didn't we? In the
We did.
little first 5-minute intro conversation. Cedarquist on the left boards feeds it down to the corner. Benson against St. Ivany. Ivany prying it free. He's got some help down low. Now a one-on-one chance on the counter, and Metsa with some good defense, but wide open in front of the net. The Penguins.
Cedarquist, he should have stopped in front with his man. Instead, he went
Puck watching.
looking in behind the net to try to fish.
Sabres trying to put a dent here in Joel Blomqvist. Finnish goaltender for the Penguins. He has faced 11 shots to this point. He's been good on all of them. That one from Benson is in the glove. Benson out there with Kozak and Giroux in that moment. Anyway, Miedema comes onto the ice now as Benson goes to the bench.
Another long-range opportunity there from Zach Benson. Cleanly seen the whole way in from Blomqvist. Again, not a lot of traffic in front there, but
And clearly the busiest Sabre on the ice.
oh, no question.
Benson, I mean, he's
Yep.
everywhere. He's been that way. I know every day he's been here. He's been that way through his, 2 games of preseason in the Western Hockey League? Is that what he said?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
So, Penguins coming close here a few times already in this second period with some plays at the blue line, just trying to chip the puck and have a go at it. Back after it. This is Isaac Beliveau being watched by Kozak. Kozak
Very diligent.
shoves him to the ice there very gently but efficiently. And the Penguins try to lift it up the middle of the ice. That lane was taken away nicely, but then the puck is coughed up right back to the Penguins. A little bit too far for Lukas Svechkovsky. And Johnson gets there first with some pretty good body positions. Savoie there to help out. Penguins get it in front, but it's in the skates of Svechkovsky. Can't get the shot away. Up top, he'll fire that one into a crowd, and it ricochets back out towards center ice. Aguilar sends it across. It'll be fired back in by Ananya. Shot fired wide over at the far post, just underway. 2.5 into the second period. Penguins racing after it and unable to move it out for the Sabres was Lawson Shirk. Penguins in the corner. Pittsburgh still with some pretty good step to their game here as Aguilar throws it in behind the net. Nemestikov moves it back to the line. Anania again being watched closely, that time by Giroux. Shot gets through, but Ratzlaff is down at the far post, and he easily holds on to that one.
Yeah, what happened here was totally against what the Sabres like to do. The Sabres like to cut this end zone into quadrants, okay? From the top of the circles down, one down the middle, and you try to flood it. You try to take. The Sabres were so spread out over the whole zone, it allowed Pittsburgh to use their speed. They moved the puck around. They kept jumping into holes, which led to a couple of good opportunities for them. So, I think that just comes down to maybe the time that the coaching staff has had with them, that they really haven't caught on to the way the Sabres want to play their game. Because once they play that flooding thing in the whole quadrant, then it just smothers the opposition. And right there, Pittsburgh just had way too much opportunity.
Seth Appert doing quite a bit of juggling over on the bench there. Again, playing with the extra defenseman to start the game and then losing Matt Savoy early in this one. As soon as the players are coming to the bench, he's pretty much making up some different lines as he goes along here, especially for the second period, to try to get something headed in the right direction, and maybe also address a little bit, Razor, about what you just brought up there. As the Penguins chip it in, and it's his Glover after it. He tried to center, but guess who is all over that play? Benson again, right in front of his own net.
Good support there for the D, and usually you see a centerman doing that. Benson's doing that as a winger, coming all the way down.
It's unreal. He's doing it every single shift.
So it's supposed to.
Yeah. Here is the Sabres. Shirk with Benson. Tried the drop pass, but that is extremely well read. Penguins break it up. Lee's going cross ice. And his pass bouncing a little bit off the stick of the intended recipient on that far side. And Buffalo will come back with Cedarquist. Left side. Benson into the lane ahead of him. Pulls up in behind the Pittsburgh goal. Novikov slides it across. That shot is gloved and held on to by Blomqvist.
Yeah, they got to start playing a little faster here. There's another good example right there. Cedarquist carrying the puck up. He had all the opportunity in the world to feed the right side going down. The man was coming down the line, and he hangs on to it. So that player's got to straddle the blue line coming across until he catches up, gains the line, and then try catching up. You want to play fast. Not only your feet moving, but you got to move the puck fast. And too many times here this afternoon, just seems like the Sabres hanging on just a little bit longer instead of making that long pass, getting it moving up the ice and playing a little quicker.
Nadeau off the draw, drops it back. Johnson backhands it down the wall. Penguins able to get a stick on it. Flip this one up to center ice, and it is settled down nicely. 2-on-1 down low. Save is made by Ratzlaff. And the Sabres move it up to center ice, but again without any possession. Deneville out of his own end. Fires it up towards the Sabres line. Johnson is there defending for Buffalo. Penguins poke it down below the goal line. It comes free to Nadeau. He finds Miedema, who will get it up near center, put it off the boards and down into Pittsburgh territory, but a backhander off the glass by Anenya gets it up ice a little bit too far for Sam Poulant. Now Lindgren in the corner. He'll leave it for Kozak. Slager calls for it. Left side, he'll skate it out. Fires it up to Nadeau. Can't handle the pass. Ivany gets it back. Cross ice feed, and it's sent to the Sabres line. Almost a delayed offside on the play, but it's kept outside the line, and now it's Lindgren turning away from coverage. Savoie will send it up ahead. Hops too high on Nadeau, but up ahead for Slager in the Pittsburgh zone. He's shown the boards. One hands that to the front of the net, but there's no Sabres there as they were changing.
Starting to see a little more urgency there on that shift from the Sabres, trying to be quick from the D up to the forwards.
Yeah.
They just got to start connecting on those passes.
And that's their game.
Yeah.
And hey, they've only been here a few days, and the coaching staff just has limited time with them. And it takes a while for all these guys to get on the same page, because a lot of these guys not been in Raj. They're all new kids coming in. So, you know, that's just a system that takes time to kind of imply or install into these guys. So can't hold it against them.
No.
Comes Benson after a grade A chance for the Penguins was turned aside by Ratzlaff seconds ago. Calvert having himself a good shift here for Pittsburgh, fighting after it again down in the corner. Penguins dig it free, but the Sabres come back, and it's Benson. He's got two along for the ride, two Penguins back. Tried to drop it back, draws the penalty, and Buffalo will go back on the power play once again with 13-14 to go in the second, trailing 1-0.
Yeah, hooking call being made here to Pittsburgh. Benson hanging on the puck going down. He hung on to it, forced the Pittsburgh Penguin to kind of grab around him, get his stick wrapped around him, spin him a little bit. And he helped that penalty as well. You know, it was, if he had kept going straight, that never would have happened. But he slowed up enough, and he allowed the Pittsburgh player to get a hold of him, spin him around, and that's when the referee made the call. So smart play there by Benson, just hesitating a little bit. I don't think he thought he wasn't going to get a great play at net. There's really nothing for him in front of him, so why not try it?
And Benson takes a 15-minute seat on the bench and comes
was
right back out for the power play. And he's going to see a lot of ice time here the rest of the way.
He might not leave the ice in this third.
Yeah.
I don't think he wants to be honest with you. Here's Metza, keeps it in at the line. Benson calling for it to his left, takes the pass, feeds it to the goal line, tried to bump that in front for Cedarquist. And the Penguins clear it down the ice. Nadeau and Jandrick and Metza, along with Cedarquist and Benson.
Yeah, and that was a nice defensive play there by Lee on the Penguin side, getting down in the net block position, taking that ice away.
Yager up top on the kill for the Penguins. Sabres bring it in with Benson. Cedarquist plays it over to the far corner. Nadeau shovels it back down. Benson got a piece. So did St. Ivany. Now Jandrick plays it behind the net. Cedarquist, nice turn on it. Jandrick up top. Metza at the line, eludes one. Jandrick now on the boards, right side, walks it halfway down. Backhand pass below the goal line, Cedarquist. Back to Jandrick, up top, Metza. Benson left side, up top to Metza. Jandrick, far circle. That space was closed down. Nice play to the front of the net, and covering up was Blomqvist.
Cedarquist with a nice little play there as the puck was coming down the right side, and he knew he wasn't going to get a stick on it, and he knew he had a player coming in from the opposite side. He tried to redirect that puck across the top of the crease with his skate. Goaltender had to bobble to try to get a hold of it, and he got a little support there, but nice heads-up play, realizing he wasn't going to be able to get a piece of it, but he was trying to direct it to his teammate over on the far side.
Giroux, Fiddler, Schultz, and Miedema. Kozak and Lindgren with 55 seconds left in the penalty to Hood in the box for Pittsburgh. Kozak will lean in to take this draw for the Buffalo Sabres. Wins it, but it's between the D and all the way down the ice. Ratzlaff comes out and lets his mates know that the Penguins have a watchful eye on the breakout. Now the Sabres will bring it in. Fiddler Schultz all the way to the far boards with it. Lindgren, trouble at the line, and it's turned over. Fimis comes back the other way with a backhand, and that one goes up high. There's Ratzlaff, stayed with it. Now the Sabres with a chance to bring it out. 19 seconds left in the power play. Miedema, left wing side, holds it. Good patience, but the pass back eluding Damien Giroux in the slot. May have taken a deflection. Buffalo will get it back. Quick up now to Miedema with 5 seconds to go in the man advantage. Penguins have someone coming out of the box here, and it's Hood. Will not get on the end of this, and Panoka gets back for the Sabres. So the power play halted. Once again, it remains a 1-0 Penguins lead. It's tipped in behind the goal. Blomqvist out to play it. Panoka comes down the boards against Hayes. Sends it down to Slaggert. He's tied up. Slaggert and company trying to stay with that puck. Johnson backing up. Now it's Panoka's got Hayes. Penguins trying to split the D down the middle, and Ratzlaff a great job in reading the play and following Samuel Hood right to the spot where that puck landed, and then he covers up.
All game long, Pittsburgh's just been quick on pucks. They've been supporting the puck really well. Two men coming in. Active sticks also, though.
Yeah, D are not doing the greatest job here covering the man going to the net. They're allowing him to get in behind, and that's probably 4 or 5 times that puck has been fed to the man driving to the net who has got in behind the D. So that's just a matter of sometimes just adjusting to the speed, maybe backing off a little quicker. You really don't want them going backwards too. You want them turning and going with the man. So if he's coming down on you a lot of speed, instead of trying to keep up to him skating backwards, turn your body, start skating forward with him, and then kind of push him off to the side a little bit. And it's just all little things here that.
Sabres looking to counter with some speed down that right side. Lawson Shirt giving it a gallop. The Brampton, Ontario native. Puck covered up there by Blomqvist.
You got to remember, a lot of these guys are so afraid to make a mistake as well. Yeah. So you're playing a little timid. You're playing not loose the way you need to play the game. So even though this is their 3rd game, and they know in the back of their head they have to leave some kind of an impression, and people are watching. So that pressure is there a little bit. So it's good for them because they learn how to play with it. But on the other hand, you don't always play that game that you need to just because it's such a sprint. And 3 games, you want to make sure when you walk out of here that I did what I had to do to get somebody's attention.
Kevin Adams tells these guys, whether it's development camp or at the front end of this camp, leave everything out there.
Yes.
Right? And that's what you're looking for tonight in the 3rd game of the Prospects Challenge.
Kozak with Benson and Cedarquist on the ice right now for Buffalo as far as the forwards are concerned. Savoie and Novikov on the back end as Savoie plays it down low. Cedarquist trying to twist and turn away from Beliveau, who plays it up the wall. And it's kept in for a moment there by Novikov, and then it's cleared out. Savoie for Benson. Novikov. Backhand pass to center. Cedarquist try to backhand that one towards Benson, who does come up with it. Ahead to Kozak. Kozak wins it to the middle of the ice, but that's cleared by Pittsburgh. And out to center, they've got a 3-on-2 potentially. That's off a skate Benson comes back the other way, sidesteps a hit, feeds it to the corner. Cederquist trying to work around Isaac Belleville. Novikov keeps it in. He slaps one towards the net, and that is held on to by Blomqvist.
Yeah, nobody in front of the net there. Clear lane. Novikov shot. Goaltender's able to see it clean and glove it. And the thing was there, everybody, Benson and everything was in motion. Instead of once they realized the puck goes to the point for that shot, to get to the front of the net. Somebody has to get to the front of the net, but everybody was kind of just turning out there looking to get that pass instead of being in front of the net to try to redirect or cause some kind of interference.
Miedema, Fiddler, Schultz, and Nadeau now. Lindgren and Metza, the 5 out for Buffalo. Nadeau on the glass, hit by Glover. And the puck bouncing to the Sabres line. Lindgren looked inside, opts for the wall. Still might have been the safer of the two ideas he had. Glover tried to get it to the net for Pittsburgh. Metza for Buffalo throws it into the slot. That is tipped to the line, but not out by Miedema. Now sent down low into the Buffalo zone. Joshua in the corner, being watched by Lindgren. Start and stop over on that far wall. Sabres able to defend it and keep the play to the outside. Now Miedema bumping shoulders with Aguilar, coming back down to the Pittsburgh zone. That puck goes by the slot area. Pittsburgh will lift it out the boards. Glover missing one hit on Nadeau, who gets the puck back and sends it down the left wing wall. Here's Nadeau in the slot with a shot, and a piece off the glove that time of Blomqvist. Sabres have it. Jandrick in behind the net. Jandrick being watched by Justin Lee. He gets some help. Now Nadeau steps down on Glover. Stick lift that time by Yager, and he'll carry it in around Panoka to the net. He scores. Backhand top shelf. As Brandon Yager showed you why he was the first round pick, 14th overall.
Quickly,
that was a nice power move coming down, and we've talked this about a few times, how the wingers here of Pittsburgh are getting a step on the D here of the Buffalo Sabres, and there was another instance right there. Panoka comes across, tries to play him, doesn't get enough of him. Pittsburgh player Yager powers his way past him, gets the separation, makes the play on net, and scores. Right there, you've got to make sure you get a piece of that guy. You got to make sure you get him, you know, at least pin to the wall or spin him around or something, not allow him to get away from you clean. But
beautiful
second
finish,
effort,
but it was the will to make a play by Brayden Yager, just the will to make a play.
Great second effort by him, just, you know, using his power and will to get through.
Yager scored on Saturday for the Penguins. He puts one in here today. Alternate captain with Moose Jaw in the Western Hockey League last season, as that puck goes up and out of play. So living up to the billing that Chris gave him before this game even started.
You know, Razor, so we're here midway through the second period. We're kind of at a point where we were at Friday night in the game against Montreal, where the Sabres wanted to maybe simplify things a little bit, get the puck deep, get a forecheck going. Do you feel that maybe that's where they're at again tonight? You know, just keep throwing the puck deep, chip charge.
You have to.
F1
You've
goes in and plays the
created
body.
good chances once you got it into their zone. You're sitting with 18 shots already here, not able to crack it. But when you're down low and you're doing that, playing that game, it's leading to opportunities. The problem they're having is, coming out of the zone, they're throwing pucks away blind a little bit, and they're not coming back quite as fast as what the Pittsburgh. They're not quite as maybe hungry as what the Pittsburgh Penguins are right now of getting in on top of the forecheck. So it cannot change. But I think the way Pittsburgh is playing right now, it's preventing the Sabres from getting to their game. So they have to put that little extra effort in and get to that game they want to play. If they can get to that, it showed they can play it, and they can score when they do play it. So it's a long ways from over here. It's only halfway through this game. So
Moberg fires it in around to the far boards. Penguins, Yager throws it in behind the net. Yager, sorry, not Yager. And the Sabres will come back with Slaggert. Takes a big hit over in front of the bench, pops right back up. Giroux took a knock as well. And it's Savoie that will go back inside his own zone for Buffalo. Shots 18-16. Buffalo, who trail it 2-0. Kozak left side, sends it to the net, and that is off the stick, up and out of play as Blomqvist was down, looking rather comfortable in net for the Penguins so far here tonight.
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of right here. Just the Sabres need to string 2 or 3 good shifts together here. Just try to gain a little momentum. I imagine coaching staff over there maybe lean on certain guys and trying to see what they can do. They know what they can do, and that's why they're going to try to keep them out there. Maybe the guys have got a little more experience just to kind of roll those 2 or 3 shifts together to get a little momentum.
Novikov, shot goes wide of the goal, bouncing puck in front. Before that last faceoff, Benson told Novikov exactly where he was going if they won the draw. I think Novikov was trying to get it to him over that far post, but didn't quite work out in that moment. But Benson certainly knows where he wants that puck to be as he kind of is policing things around out there for this team right now. Penguins, however, are playing their game, and the Sabres have to find a way to get their game rolling, as the guys have talked about here. But right now, Pittsburgh with the puck in the Buffalo zone.
And you got to give Pittsburgh credit here, too. They're checking like madmen out here, and it's really confusing maybe the Sabres a little bit and hampering them from getting up the ice clean.
Standing up at the blue line, and again, every time a Sabres on a puck, there's a white jersey, just like right here in front of the net, all crowded up. And it's back out for Lindgren on the Buffalo side of center. Jandrick now will fire it right back in. On the near boards. Fiddler Schultz got there. Now here's a turnover. Miedema looking for some help. He gets it in front. Last man in with a shot, and that one is stopped. Great chance on the doorstep for Lawson Shirk.
Yeah, all 3 guys on that forward line had an opportunity to score, and Shirk, the last guy, just ends up putting it right into the chest of the goaltender of Pittsburgh. But this is what they need. This is a few chances like that. Get them backed off a little bit. Get Pittsburgh thinking a little bit here.
It's one of the few times all night, Razor, that they've had numbers in the offensive zone.
Yeah, and that all came from a turnover by Pittsburgh, forcing it up the middle, and a nice job picking it off.
Pittsburgh's played a very scrappy game tonight, though, and they've done a really good job supporting the puck, so the Sabres have to work to cut through that.
Fiddler Schultz. Miedema broke his stick on that play, trying to come down on top of the Penguins player's stick. He'll go to the bench, get a fresh one. Lee now for Pittsburgh, looks to the wing left side. Zone entry for the Penguins. Samuel Hood down the boards. Play comes back to the line. Miedema with a good stick again. Fiddler Schultz as well. That just hits the top of the glass, stays in play down into the Pittsburgh zone.
Yeah, just an example right there. You're playing off the end of your stick. It's tough to do, but when you're attacking a guy and you got a stick on him and you're trying to, work, you got to keep the feet moving at the same time. The problem is a lot of younger players, once they put the stick on a person, they stop moving their feet, and they think they're just going to glide along with it. You keep the feet moving, plus using that stick, to try to disrupt things a little bit. It creates turnovers. But if you're just going to use your stick and stop moving your feet, more times than not, they're going to get away from you. You're going to get a penalty.
Jandrick turns with it after the face-off win in the Buffalo zone. Miedema flips it up near center ice where it's gloved down. Fiddler Schultz. Schultz to the net with a shot. Lundqvist with a save. That puck was parked at the side of the net. Lawson Shirk looking to surprise the Penguins goaltender. Ty Glover now for Pittsburgh. Hard off the boards. He fires that into the Buffalo zone, and Retzlaff gets a bit of a break there. He went out to play the puck and gave it away, but he got back in time off of a bit of a whiff towards the net.
You just watching the Sabre players here go on and off the ice. Look like they're maybe a little tired.
Well, I was just looking. Ryan Johnson just came over the boards here. I don't recall really him touching the puck a lot here. He's coming out with Pinocchio here to take a defensive shift, but he's one of the guys that you want to see. We talked about the need to play faster. Yeah. Don't go lateral. It's hard to play fast when you're moving the puck left to right, right? You got to get going north.
100%,
he's one guy that can help.
Yeah.
Just a little bit of a conversation after that face-off and the puck that got to the net. Lucas Svechkovsky.
Son of Yogi. I don't know if you remember him. Yogi Svechkovsky from the Washington Capitals. Scored, I believe, 4 goals against the Sabres in an April game.
What year?
Way back. Gosh, I was in college.
1970?
The 90s?
In the 90s?
Probably 1997?
Really?
The Washington Capitals didn't score 4 goals back.
I'm going to look that up.
In those days.
97, that's Peter Bondra and all those guys era.
Retzlaff waved at that one. Sam Poulin for the Penguins trying to get it to the slot. Pinoka with a stick up in the armpit area, able to play it away. Slager to the middle for Cederquist. Nadeau in front for Slager, who kept going to the net. Couldn't quite get his stick on it. There's Johnson's shot, glove high and held on to, and now Slaggert. A little bit of a push with Cole Moberg, but he's not going to do too much against the 6'3" North Van native in this moment. 4 1/4 to go in the second period.
It's good to see, though. We want to see a little pushback here after the whistle, get some scrums going, get these guys dialed in to finish up strong here. 4:25 left in the middle period. You're still looking to get one past Blomqvist.
Well, we talked about at the end of the last Buffalo game how the Sabres, when they had a lead, kept on playing the same way. They kept working it to make it work, and that doesn't change now that you're down 2-0, and you hope that that becomes a strength in this situation here with 4:05 to go in the second period. Miedema after it in the corner. St. Ivany plays it around the near boards. Here comes Savoie down the wall looking to keep it in, so that's certainly one aspect of the game. The defenseman may jump up a little bit more to try to keep plays in the offensive zone instead of maybe backing off and having that cushion between the potential transitioning forward for the Penguins. We get a whistle face-off coming outside the zone.
You know, that defenseman, that whole mechanism jumping up in the play, that is one thing that hasn't been as
prevalent.
You haven't seen it as much tonight as we saw in the first two. I don't know if it's a reflection of, these guys have played this third game in 4 days.
Well, they had a day off yesterday from playing a game, so you wouldn't think at this point, right? And the Penguins have played the exact same number of games in the same number of days, so. St. Ivany at the line. Well, stick work there by Miedema, almost took it away from him. This Hood trying to get a stick on it, take it away by Novikov, and he'll skate behind the Sabres net. Now send it out in front. And Giroux to the wall. Miedema takes a bump, plays it from an icing position. So again, there's one of those little things that the Penguins are doing. Just bother the Sabres every time they've got the puck, and you force a turnover basically in creating an icing. Face off to the left of Scott Ratzlaff, who has seen 18 shots by the Penguins. Face off won by Damien Giroux, the Sudbury, Ontario native for Buffalo. Back after it, Justin Lee. Quick up, who just across the Buffalo line. That pass ricochets down to the corner, and Metsä plays it behind the net. Lindgren waits in the corner for the pass. Flips that one up. It was almost intercepted by Hayes. Buffalo will flip it in for Benson, trying to get a stick on it against Lee, who comes away for Pittsburgh. Plays it up ahead. Hood will shovel that backhander into the Sabre zone. Yeager racing after it. Yeager comes up with it. He's got one in front, and a nice defensive play with a stick by Metsä to knock that one away. Sent across the line for Benson. Fiddler Schultz with a shot. Can't get it through. The rebound does get through, and Blomqvist dives on the loose puck with 2:34 to go. We talk about opportunities. And in this period earlier, Razor, we mentioned there was really just the one wave of 3 guys off a turnover that were creating an opportunity. Not many bang second chance.
Kind of one and done, Dan? Just puck's going there. Goaltender's either, or the D are stepping in, deflecting it away. It's those second and third opportunities, and that tells you that the guys are to the net. Somebody's there. They're creating traffic. They're creating havoc in front, getting the pucks there, doing the simple things. It's just, even when the shot's going, the Sabres just don't have enough traffic in front to create that second and third opportunity, because the opportunities are there. They got 24 shots on goal so far, but I bet you they only got maybe 3 follow-up shots out of that.
Yeah, penalty call coming up. It's a slash going to Buffalo.
56.
So Shirk will take a break here for 2 or less. With 2:24 to go.
You got to think this is a pretty big kill here with 2:24 in this second period, down 2. You don't want to go down that third one heading into the third period here.
Well, I was just mentioning to Chris while you were on a water break really quickly, the Sabres, when they were leading in games, we gave them credit at the end of last game for just keeping on playing the same game.
Yes.
Not a lot is working for you right now, but it is only 2-0. And you just want to see if that same thing that we see with the big club is that if they're up or they're down.
And that's why they had so much success, Dan.
Yeah.
It was even keel all the way across the board from start to finish with the big guys. That's what you saw the first 2 games. So far this game, they haven't got to that level yet to play that. You see it at times, you see it at shifts, but they can never put those 2, 3, 4 shifts together.
Haven't had any waves yet. Just ripples.
Yeah.
Yager will bring it up for the Penguins. Played onto the wing, wants a return pass. Ratzlaff read it well, and he'll cover up. So Ratzlaff keeping his team in it, albeit, yes, Buffalo not being outshot, but Ratzlaff certainly has seen some of the better Penguins prospects bearing down on him a lot more often.
No, he has. He's gotten familiar with Braden Yager on a couple occasions tonight. One didn't go his way, but there he made another stop on Yager here. You know, overall, though, I think we just saw a nice penalty kill shift from both Slaggert and Dominic Mersch in the top of the zone. Again, just using their feet in combination with an active stick to thwart the attack, and that's kind of to Razor's earlier point. You need to see that more, especially at 5-on-5.
Good dig off the face-off, but unable to get it out. Cedarquist, but yeah, he did get it out. Hayes will bring it back in offside. The Penguins are dogs after.
Yeah, they are.
All night long.
You got to give them credit here. They're playing pretty darn well here.
We say it a lot with Zach Benson. We're saying it about the entire Pittsburgh roster tonight. Stick on stick, stick on puck.
Across the board, they haven't really had too many shifts that they, didn't play their game.
But it's two-man support, too.
Yes.
They're supporting the puck really well in all three zones.
They've been physical. They're on top of the pucks. Their sticks are in lanes. They've created a lot of turnovers.
Cedarquist got a stick on that one. Chips it down towards Blomqvist. He'll leave it in behind the Pittsburgh goal. A minute killed on the Penguins power play. Late stages, second period, 2-0 for the visitors here in Buffalo. Hayes will bring it in. Sabres did not back up. Penguins work it to the goal line. Ratzlaff stuffs that near post. And the play comes up to the far point. Near circle. There's a shot by Beliveau that goes towards the goal, but deflected wide. Sabres a chance now for Cedarquist to backhand it up and out, and he does. This will roll towards Blomqvist. 19 seconds to go on the kill. Penguins at center. Nice move to gain the line by Beliveau. Now puck comes back out to center ice. St. Ivany looks straight ahead. 3 seconds to go in the kill for Buffalo as we get a whistle. 27 seconds left in the period.
Not all the way out of the woods yet, but a good kill, Razor, I would say, here for the minute 57.
Yeah, they were being more aggressive. Whether they were in the zone, they were being aggressive, going towards the puck carrier, and especially at the blue line. They did a much better job of standing up and not allowing Pittsburgh just to gain that zone, especially in the second half here of this one.
Lindgren in a pretty good position battle with Soto on the face-off. There goes Shirk to the bench for Buffalo. Back to even strength with the Penguins. 14 seconds to go in the period, and Ratzlaff with a save off that shot down the far side. Sabres come back. Giroux can't quite get a handle on that one with 5 seconds to go in the period. Still keeps applying the pressure down low, though. That'll end period number 2. Penguins with a 2-0 lead.
Last shot on goal comes in, hits Ratzlaff. Rebound comes out. Who's there to scoop it up and get it out of the zone? Zach Benson. Again, just coming back, supporting it, reading that play.
Yeah, he's either one or the other. He's either deep down in the zone and he's really covering it, or when he feels that the Sabres are going to get control of the puck and be able to start moving up the ice and make that play, he likes to hang out on the offside on the far blue line.
That's right.
And then as soon as the Sabres start making that move coming up, he comes off the wall, cuts into the center looking for that pass. So, and it's not as if he's not covering his man in the zone. He's with the D-man here. So it's, he's got his man. It's 5-on-5. They got everything covered. It's not him staying up trying to sneak something in behind somebody. It's just he likes to try to stretch it out to try to give a little more room for his teammates.
Brian Duff, Marty Biron standing right behind us, ready to go with the second intermission.
Looking for your next true hobby? Make it a Sabres game. Groups of 10 or more receive savings on box office prices and can access unique experiences. Learn more, visit sabres.com/groups. And check out the Sabres clearance sale on the Open.ai today. All hats are $15, and if they're with men, women, and kids are at
It is 2-0 Pittsburgh after 40 minutes of play in the final game of this Prospects Challenge here at Lecom Harbor Center with Marty. I'm Brian. Intermission report now. Marty, your takeaway from the second where the Penguins added to their lead and Buffalo still quiet on the power play in this tournament.
Yeah, very quiet on the power play, and obviously as we talked to Adam Mayer in the first intermission, a lot of players that didn't get to play together or work the power play together, so they're thrown into different situation. But I did see, there was Benson with Cedarquist and Nadeau on the power play. You would think that they're used to playing in that type of game situation because of where they are in juniors or in the American League. But in all, I felt like this was a very quiet period. It's been a quiet game for the Sabres. You have 11 forwards. Matt Savoy goes down with an injury first shift of the game. You're down to 10. It's a long weekend, 3 games in 4 days, and I think their legs are just pretty much mush right now. It's a lot of mush to say, but it feels that way, like everything is slow to develop.
I think you're right in the sense that, I shouldn't say it that way, but I agree with, I feel the same as you, but I'm puzzled that they have 24 shots given how hard it was for them to generate shots on goal in their last victory on Saturday. How would you assess what type of chances they've had? They're 0 for 3 on the power play so far, but the one really good look I think that period was
Nadeau in the slot. It went off the glove and just missed. And then look, like I feel like Olivier Nadeau has had a quiet game, but he had that chance, right? So everybody's had a few chances. There was a play where Minima made a really nice backhand play to the back door. That's when Nadeau came in to get the rebound. But I just don't see that there has been consistent pressure.
Yeah.
And the power play, I don't know. I didn't keep track. But out of the 24 shots that it says the Sabres have, even if they got 10 of those on the power play, 2 or 3 per power play chances, it still just leaves you with 14 shots in 2 periods.
I don't think they had that many on their power plays, quite frankly. It didn't feel like they had a ton, but regardless, it's not a time to be sitting here evaluating power plays. It is certainly a time to reiterate who's not in the lineup today, and that's Yuri Kulik, Alexander Kisakov, Victor Neuchev, Isak Rozan, and as you mentioned, first shift of the game, Matt Savoy left with what appeared to be an upper body injury, but we don't know that for sure. We do know Savoy has gotten out of his gear and is in street clothes, and we'll obviously get an update after the game as far as that is concerned. It's 2-0 Pittsburgh right now through 40 minutes of play. The Sabres have the edge in shots 24-20. Ratzlaff in goal once again for Buffalo. He got the win in the opening night of the tournament, 6-3 over Montreal, and he's back in after Fleming was very strong in the Saturday night win. And I thought Ratzlaff actually, again, got better after the tough start, which, not unlike the Friday game, it was kind of that first foray against him. The opponent was able to find the back of the net, but I thought he looked a lot more calm and had some really big saves there in that second period before the Jäger goal.
He had a couple of big saves, yes. Puck seems to hit him a couple of times in good position. On the Jäger goal, it's a play where, it's a right-handed shot coming down the right wing with a lot of speed, goes around the defenseman and comes in, and Ratzlaff tried to give him the poke check. And I think he kind of showed his hand a little too early. They don't poke check a whole lot in the NHL anymore. Why? Because guys are so good at reading it. As soon as you're bringing the poke check out, they kind of toe drag around you or they shoot it right away. And Jäger saw the poke check, pulled it to his backhand, and had the top of the net open over the blocker. It's hard to commit to the poke check with the hand going forward and then pulling it back to be able to cover that area. So that, they tell me all the time, why aren't guys poke checking players on the shootout when they come in slow like Patrick Kane? Because they can't.
Kuznetsov.
Kuznetsov, yeah, he's as bad too, or maybe worse.
He's the slowest.
He's the slowest. But you can't poke check because as soon as you commit, they're so good at seeing it. Imagine coming at full speed and still be able to get around the poke check. Ratzlaff tried to get it. It didn't work, and the puck was under the bar and into the net.
Okay, so do we empty the tank right now, given that we don't have a post-game show, or do we save it all for Sabres Live tomorrow? What do you want to do?
We have a show tomorrow?
I think we do. Now
there's not a Bills game tonight, so we don't get Tuesday off again.
we could spend the rest of our time in this intermission report talking about the Sabres Foundation Golf Tournament today, which was an absolute blast.
Let's do that.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Or we save it for tomorrow?
No, we can do it again tomorrow. A different audience, and I feel like it's different channels.
Weather on the ones? With just
on the ones
new audience
10.
every 10 minutes?
Yeah, so I'll tell you this. What a beautiful day at Country Club of Buffalo for the Sabres Foundation Golf Tournament. The players are all there. It's fun to see. I had a great chat with Eric Comrie, Victor Olofsson, new daddy. Talked about it, and he was the cart right behind me when we were waiting in line. So he said they actually came back early because in the third trimester it's hard to travel, so they wanted to get here earlier this summer.
Good work by you. We rarely work in the third trimester in our Sabres live show.
Yeah, knowing all the trimesters. But yes, that was great for him. He's been back in town quite a bit. But I did have a chat with Eric Comrie as well. And Tyson Jost was in the group right behind me. Danny Gare was in the group right ahead of me, so had a lot of good chats with those two. Danny goes, my hip is hurting a little bit. I feel like arthritis in there. And then he proceeds to hit a beautiful, what was like maybe a 5-wood or 7-wood, 205 yards on a par 3, right to the middle of the green. I'm like, Danny, you still got it.
Yeah. You know, it was amazing. First, I was there for about 10 seconds. And the one thing that carries over always is wherever Matthias Samuelsson is, someone's laughing. Oh. And it was just amazing. I'm like, well, this is continuity at its finest. And, you know, speaking of guys with kids, I mean, Zemgus was in the group behind us, I think. And first thing when I saw him, how was your summer? Busy. Yeah. And it was only because 2 kids, you know, under the age of 3 and running around like that. But you know what? He skates with you know, some guys in the Pittsburgh area, not Penguin specific, but and I'll tell you what, he definitely got a good look at Logan Cooley this summer. He said Cooley is like, he couldn't believe how talented this kid is that's going to Arizona this year. So that's one thing to definitely look out for. And of course, one of his goalies, your favorite, John Gibson.
Oh, yeah.
Because Pittsburgh area. But the other one, House Cat.
Michael Hauser was there.
So, yeah, it was good. It was good. It's always nice. It's always good to, you know, kind of know who the guys are skating with and stuff like that.
You know what? It's funny because usually I talk to the players. I'm like, how was your summer? Where'd you go back? How was that? And then I talked to Tyson Jost. I'm like, where do you go back in the summer? He goes, Kelowna. Mm-hmm. And he goes, I'm like, how was that? He goes, well, we dealt with a lot of forest fires, wildfires. He said some of his family members actually lost their houses. It jumped a lake. Can you imagine that it got so hot that the fire jumped a lake and it continued on the other side and it went right to the city? And he said it was really hard. So he was all good where he was, but it was really hard. So we discussed that a little bit. And those are all things that you got to take in consideration, right? Like the summer's so short. The players, you think it's all, you know, rainbows and unicorns. They go back home, they do parties, and they work out and all that. But sometimes there's other things that happen. Life happens, and you got to adjust. And he had to deal with wildfires in the Kelowna region this summer, which was really hard on everybody.
Well, I'll tell you one player that we don't talk about very much for whatever reason, and it's no disrespect to him. It's just we almost live in this world, whether we're here at Prospects Challenge, where we're fixated on the first rounders all the time, or we're talking about the highest scorers on the current group of Sabres and who's going to take Jack Quinn's spot. One guy that was in the group in front of us today that, like, I know he was an imposing presence already, but Jordan Greenway looks ridiculous. Like, he's in such good shape, and you're just like, man, like you already knew the minute they acquired him, the hope, the belief that Don Granato has that he can get more out of him, right?
Yes.
And we talked so much. We even talked with Adam Mayer in the first intermission about, you know, big body, physical, whatever. Like, Greenway is different than most of the other players we talk about on the Sabres. And I think, you know, now camp opens this week, right? And all of a sudden you got the blue and gold scrimmage on Saturday. Then you've got 5 preseason games in 7 days. So we're going to be talking about all these different guys, and I really can't wait to see. And it's not a proving ground for Greenway per se in preseason hockey. I get that. But I do think, depending on who he plays with, it could be really interesting to see if he can touch that next level
Funny
this year.
enough, I had a conversation with Eric Bolton and Don Granado this morning, and we were talking about Eric Bolton's kids, right? He has a couple of kids. One plays in the North American Hockey League in Rochester. One plays with the London Knights. And how they try to find a role, and the league will put you in your place, right, as James Patrick said. But the conversation was more about everybody wants physicality. Everybody looks for physicality, but physicality has to help your club, not set it back. So if you can't keep up with the speed of the game and the transition and the way that your team has to play, even if you can throw a few hits around, it's not going to work. And I think that Jordan Greenway, even though it was a small sample last year, and it didn't really work out so well for Jordan and when he got acquired by the Sabres, but I think this is one piece that Don Granado and the Sabres hope that it finds its way into being able to bring his physicality, but within the team concept. And it's not just him. There's a lot of other guys that have to be able to do that in coming into camp and saying, I'm going to bring a physical element to my game, but it has to fit in the team concept. Don Granado wants physicality. He wants physicality on the blue line. Talk about Matthias Samuelsson, but I'll talk about Dahlin and how he can play physical. How Riley Stillman played physical. So that is important, but it has to fall into the team concept, which is even better.
Did you want to offer your public retraction now about the Samuelsson?
Public retraction. So this is the time of the show, folks, where we go back and correct the mistakes we've made in the prior shows or prior intermissions. So in the first intermission, I said that Matthias Samuelsson broke his hand at Prospect Challenge. No, he took a shot in the foot, and that was a foot injury. Although it was Dylan Cousins who broke his hand, but it was at development camp when he got drafted right away after. So I mixed the two together. I don't know that I'll ever mix Matthias Samuelsson for Dylan Cousins and vice versa, but I did it right then. I'm sorry if you guys went on to talking to your friends and say, oh, yeah, I forgot Samuelsson broke his hand in Prospect Challenge. No, it was his foot.
And unfortunately, the whole reason that we got on the topic was because Matt Savoy was injured in the first shift of today's game here against Pittsburgh and did not return. We'll get an update from the Sabres after we suspect on the status of Savoy moving forward. Again, camp opens on Wednesday. On-ice sessions begin Thursday. Blue and gold scrimmage on Saturday. Preseason begins on Sunday. Man, it's coming quick. 3 minutes to go in the intermission report. 2-0 Pittsburgh over Buffalo after 40. What players are you looking at here in period number 3? And maybe, specifically, if I'm looking at this page right now, the first two guys I would gravitate to would be Benson and Kozak. But is that unrealistic at this point with 3 and 4? Do you see somebody, lower down on the depth chart, if you will, that's been playing well that might continue to catch your eye here in the third?
Okay, so I talked about Olivier Nadeau having a chance, but I feel like he has to start showing a little bit more gumption, a little bit more toughness on the wall. But it's hard. It's 3 games in 4 days. Main camp is coming up, so these guys want to get ready for main camp. Also, you already saw one guy go down. I'm not saying that everybody's going to take their foot off the pedal in the third period because they're all competitors, but you don't want injuries. You don't want to get hurt at this time. Some of them are going to go back to juniors, and they want to be able to start playing again. Some of them are going to go to the main camp. So you got to play hard, but you don't want anybody getting hurt.
Remember on Saturday night, after Matt Savoy had the great Friday game, Nick Savoy, we thought, played really well. I asked Seth Appert about him after. I don't know if you heard the response.
No, I did not hear Seth's response.
Wow.
Oh.
He's like, wow. And I was great. I mean, it was just, it's nice when you think you're seeing it the right way, perhaps, and definitely the coach was quite impressed. Savoy had a couple of late power play chances early on in that second period today. And again, they started with 7 defensemen. So it's been, a juggling act on the blue line.
Yes.
So what we had seen in the first couple of games with a lot of consistency, especially the top 9 and forwards, is quite a bit different here today. It's Pittsburgh 2, Buffalo no score after 40 minutes of play. All right, last word to you before we sign it off.
Well, I better tune in to Sabres Live tomorrow at noon on MSG or WGR 550 because we will be recapping the whole tournament, talk a little bit about the golf tournament that we had today, some league news.
Yeah.
There was some big news out of Columbus with Mike Babcock resigning, so we will discuss that and much more on Sabres Live, Duffer, so we'll have fun. Rob Ray wants to get back.
Tell, Razor is a man of few words unless you get a mic in front of him. So he's got that opportunity next with Chris Baker and Dan Dunleavy. It's period 3 right after this.
All right, thank you, Brian and Marty, for all that wonderful work during the intermissions on this tournament. Time now for the third period, brought to you by Rob Ray.
And the cashews I had.
Cashews, cashews.
I had cashews. I borrowed them from downstairs.
They're on loan.
I'll give them back in the morning.
Sabres from left to right here in the third period. Better get to hockey talk very quickly here.
Yeah, 20 minutes to play, opportunity. You talk about making a lasting impression. Some of these players likely.
Yeah, and I think the coach is probably in between here. You know, there's no panic. You look over there. Is it a big deal? No, but it's a big deal to the guys on the ice because there's other people watching here that you know are going to see how they react in these situations, and it can help or hurt some guys.
Kozak's been involved in a couple of conversations as play stopped and then restarted, then got bumped to the ice. So we'll see if the Sabres come out with a little more vinegar in the veins. Good chance down low there, just couldn't get the last touch on it, and the puck is iced by the Penguins. So it's a good start to the first few seconds of this period. A little bit of talking, then you get the puck to the front of the net. Get your, as you like to say, Rob, just find a way to get yourself into the game. If you feel
and you know what's good too, Dan? You're seeing guys come onto the ice too. All three of them are talking to each other now. The D are coming in, have a little conversation too. So they're it's going through their heads, trying to do something to make a difference here. So
draw themselves, as you say. It's up to the players to get that next level of competition out of their game. Nadeau off the boards comes up with it. Savoie slaps one in the net. That didn't miss by much. Now Johnson down the wall trying to keep it in. That's going to go past Slaggert, but he'll glide back after it. It's an icing call, so that got chipped past the Sabres defenseman. And the referee over at the Penguins bench making sure that they don't make a change on this icing. Well, 59 seconds in, the play remains in the Penguin zone. It'll be Fiddler Schultz to take the draw for Buffalo. And looks like Sam Poulin will step in for the Penguins. Poulin trying to back Fiddler Schultz up at the dot. Puck rolls to the front of the net. Penguins able to come away with it. And it'll be lifted up ice by Joshua into the Buffalo zone. Puck bouncing up into the air. Slager comes back. And he knocks the puck free. And now Savoie behind the net for the Sabres will skate it out. In a line as they get to the blue line. Now Johnson left side on the entry, shoots that one. It's sticked away by Blomqvist to the corner. Penguins get it out to center. Sabres on it again. Fiddler Schultz, he'll slap it right back in. Deflects to the corner. St. Ivany is there, makes a quick play. And the Penguins going up the wall past Metza, finding an open man on the far side, and Ratzlaff makes the save. Trying to follow the puck and get it outside the line. Nadeau does after Miedema did the initial work. Miedema tried to chip it across the blue line, but the Penguins shovel it right back.
You're seeing the Sabres D here getting a little more active here. They're getting up the ice a little bit. Johnson just a minute ago, you know, jumping up, carrying the play up the ice. So I think you're going to see them try to activate more guys than just the three forwards going into the zone. D got to get involved here.
Yep, a little more urgency.
Giroux flips it in across the line. Penguins able to play at the center. Nemestikov shoots it in behind the net. Ratzlaff takes a quick look. He'll leave it there for Jandrik. He's got some open ice to play it to Panoka. He'll go cross ice. Now Giroux will carry it over the line. Mersch goes towards the net. Sabres, Jandrik forced wide, now in behind the net, looking to center it in front, and he does, but the puck is steered away to the corner. Now back behind the net, this is Moberg. His backhander to the line gets by Jandrik. Nemestikov looks to the middle of the ice, finds Cooper Foster. He's forced to the corner far side by Kozak.
We were talking about that late in the second period, Razor. We weren't seeing the D up in the play as much as they were the first two games. Last sequence here, Jandrik goes around deep in the zone, back of the net, and led to a scoring opportunity.
Well, you got to put a whole press on it here right now just to try to get them backed off a little bit and throw them off, because I think just for the first two periods, they had to deal with three guys. The fourth guy was not getting in. The fifth guy was staying even farther back. So,
shot stopped by Ratzlaff off the stick of Ty Glover.
Wasn't even just carrying the puck, and like the example of Ryan Johnson activating on the left wing boards. The first two shifts of that, first 59 seconds of the period were 2 desperation shots. Novikov throws a puck to the net. Another defenseman throws it.
And they had bodies in front. There was a man battling, both times that you're talking about in front of the net, trying to make something happen. So it's all just little things. In that case right there, Benson taking it back into the, he had an opportunity to move it up the ice, and he throws it back towards his D into the zone. Pittsburgh still got maintained pressure on him, and Pittsburgh creates an opportunity from it. So you got to get it heading north. Don't take it back into your zone.
Johnson takes it away from Aguilar, and the Sabres are able to lift it down to the Penguin zone, and striding back after it to pick it up is Matthew Soto. He'll play it around in the near corner. This is Glover. Turns to the forehand off the boards. Benson, last man back for Buffalo. He turns it back towards Johnson, who sends it across to Novikov. Under pressure from Glover. Johnson. Pass one off escape, but it still finds its way to Benson. Ahead to Cedarquist. He's given a bump as he gains the Pittsburgh line on the right side. Now it's down to the corner. This is Slaggert behind the net. He'll feed it off the boards far side. Play forced up top. Novikov just protecting the puck. He'll take it down to the corner. Big man behind the net. Centers in front for Benson. Got one rap at it. He's got the rebound. Benson pulls out looking for a shooting lane. It's not there. Cedarquist can't knock it down. Penguins clear.
Had Novikov going backdoor. Just couldn't elevate the puck enough over that mass of sticks to get it to him.
Yeah, Benson trying to make that sauce pass across. When you got numbers to the net, you got traffic there. Fire the puck to the net. Don't try to be too pretty.
Savoie keeps it in as he works on Joshua. Puck goes down in behind the net. Benson again. Up top, Lindgren walks. Benson takes the shot, and Bloomquist with a good push to the near post to make the stop. Nadeau in the corner against Svechkovsky, who makes a play to get it outside of the zone, and now Poulin down the left side. He's on his own. Svechkovsky trailing in the slot, goes to the net. Penalty coming up here to Lindgren.
Get him for a hold.
Yeah, going to be a holding call here as Pittsburgh just hung on to the puck going around behind the net, and Lindgren once again stopped moving his feet, kind of reached out, grabbed on, and eventually the man goes down. So that's going to be your call. But in those cases right there, they're not a danger when they're below the line like that and they're coming. You're on them. Just keep your feet moving. Just keep pushing them to the outside. Yeah. Whether he comes all the way back up to the blue line again, you just keep pushing him the outside. You don't have to go that extra mile, grab onto him like that. But the big thing is you got to have your feet moving.
Just skate all the way down the ice and put your glove in his face like that.
That works too, Dan. That does work.
Don't touch him. Just do this.
Take his eyes away.
Trying to see where you want to go with this.
Little fake face wash. Yeah.
The Plater Avery, if you will. The Plater version. Here's Hayes down the left side. So a power play for the Penguins. They already lead it 2-0. Delaveau plays it down the wall. Hayes to the goal line. They bump it out front looking for Pano. Is it Femi or Fimis?
Fimis.
I'd rather be corrected on the air than get it wrong all the time. Richmond Hill, Ontario.
You're asking now?
Native.
In the third period?
I asked before the game.
Oh.
But he's listed as number 36 and wearing number 54. So that, always throws a little bit of a wrench into things. Well, who's that famous guy? Oh, he's right there, number 36, who did never show up. Johnson behind the net. Plays it to the corner. The Sabres penalty kill, which was full marks in the second period. So far, full marks again. And guess who's out there killing? Number 9.
You just, they had early momentum here in the period. You just hope that the PK doesn't kind of kill that momentum. They can kill this one off and get right back to business and swarm the attack here.
Penguins lifted in. This is Samuel Hood. Savoie, Benson, Slaggert might have a one-on-one if he can get on the end of this roller, but he can't. And the Penguins able to come up with it. They've still got 32 seconds to go as they get the center with the man advantage. Hood is going to the net. Puck does not get there. Instead, it's Poulin on the wall left side. Can't keep it in the zone. Benson knocked down as he tried to get to there as he and Jäger were stride for stride with one another. Svechkovsky's on well ahead of the play down the left side, but the Penguins opt for the right boards. Now Poulin walks in. Glove save made by Ratzlaff with 6 seconds to go in the penalty kill.
Clean shot one-on-one. Ratzlaff's out the whole way into the glove.
Yeah, Sabres had good numbers. 3 guys in front of the net, and they realized the shot was coming. They opened up, allowed the goaltender to see it, but Pittsburgh had nobody trying to get to the front of the net. They're looking to stand off the side of the net, and that doesn't really work that well. Now, once again, I still like to look at the four of them out there. They're talking to each other. They're making sure they're on the same page here.
And they're going to be looking to catch, hopefully win the faceoff and catch Lindgren coming out of the box in 5 seconds here.
Lindgren, door open. Penguins, though, still have the puck. He can pick off the play at the blue line from Lee. He does. Potential three-man rush here for Buffalo. Got to hold the line a little bit on entry, but Kozak stays with a roller puck, and then Lee lined him up for a hit. Kozak saw him coming and stepped right out of the way. Novikov, he's got his man lined up for a little bump down there deep in the Sabres zone. Buffalo looking for room up the middle this time. Cederquist can't get into the Pittsburgh zone. Novikov gets it back again. Ahead of Soto. Plays it to Cederquist and offside over on that left wing side. Sabres still lead with the shots at 27-23, but trail at 2-0.
Yeah, it looked like Olivier Nadeau maybe half a step in ahead of the play there. As Cederquist tried to gain the zone.
Nadeau had 46 points in 34 games with Gatineau in the Quebec Major Junior League last year.
Scored all of his goals last year in a queue, probably a combined 20 feet from the net. I mean, literally every goal was at the doorstep last year for Nadeau.
Big hit by Mersch. Oh, and now he wants the puck up ahead of the play, but they don't get it to him. Sabres Metza, though, nice chip as he takes it down the right side. Centers it in front, and that shot goes high. Maybe a high stick as well on Mersch as he let that one go. Continues to look to the ref as he goes to the bench, and a shot by Miedema deflects high. And they dove from Miedema behind the net in the Pittsburgh zone. Panoka can't keep a bouncer in, and back the other way, the Penguins on the counter. Nice job by Slager. Defensively, position and stick, keeping the Penguins in the corner and on the boards. It's back to the point. Shot just wide. Ratzlaff plays it behind the net. Slager takes a hit, but gets to that puck first on the wall. Now it comes free. Back to the point. Shot goes off of the Penguins player, Avery Hayes, in front. Slager behind the net. Plays it to the corner. Panoka's got to turn away from Jäger. This is Hood, sends it in front, and fanning on the first shot, getting the second shot to the net, which is stopped by Ratzlaff as the Penguins pour it on there for a shift.
Yeah. Panoka getting turned around.
Yeah, he got caught over in the corner, got his back turned, everything right there. And the thing is, Pittsburgh here, they're looking for that high guy in the slot. Sabres got numbers in front of the net, but they're deep. And they're down around the blue paint a little bit. Instead of just being spread out a little bit, stay in that line a little bit. Cover from like the hash marks down to the net, not just all piled up within 3 feet of each other on the top of the blue paint. That almost led to a great opportunity for Pittsburgh. It's just awareness. Sometimes you just try to do a little too much when you should just, relax a little bit. And
now Benson in the Pittsburgh zone for Cederquist out of the corner. Cederquist whips it to the corner. Johnson down low with Benson. Now Johnson rotates back to the point. Cederquist shot to the front of the net. Fiddler Schultz tried to get it back out in front of the Penguins goal, but Pittsburgh will clear it. That goes off a stick of Poulin. Johnson back for the Sabres to an open corner. Cederquist will get there as Lindgren had company with him. And now Johnson on the near side sends it up ahead. Fiddler Schultz gains the line. He'll slide it down to the corner. Penguins are all over that one. Aguilar will flip it, not out, right on the glove of Benson with a shot, but a good stick by Andre Anina knocks that one up and out of play.
Yeah, Sabres pulling back just a little too much here. He had Benson and his line mate all the way out here. They had one man under pressure down low and the other two high. Puck eventually bounced to Benson there for an opportunity. It was deflected up and over, but at this point here, you got 10 minutes left. You're down 2. You got to get 2 guys on the puck.
That's what I'm saying, Razor. Get one in, F1, take the body, F2, come in, scoop up the puck.
And that's just basic there. And I think they're just so hesitant to maybe give up that next one, and it's kind of taken away from their game a little bit. Just keep playing your game. Just keep playing your game. Stay aggressive on it, and it'll come.
Shirk battling on the boards. Puck comes free. Sabres able to keep it in. Novikov. Good puck protection as he shields that behind the net, then tried to just kind of backhand it in front of the net. Penguins able to break that one up and get it out center ice. Foster. He's turned back. Shirk comes across the line, onside. Trying to work with Kozak, who will keep it in for Panoka. His shot in front, and that one almost directed towards the net by Shirk. Savoie's gone to the bench. This is Panoka. Good confidence here, protecting the puck. Turns out of the corner. Panoka sends it cross ice. Jandrik. He's got Panoka with him up top. Jandrik at the line, skates to keep it in. Over halfway past this third period's midway point as that puck pops into the air behind the Penguins goal. Jandrik trying to knock it down. Penguins come away with it. And it's Cooper Foster who will skate it up towards center ice. And on the change, just chip it down into the Buffalo end. Jagger on the forecheck. Jandrik. This time Jandrik will try the left wing pass. And they don't try to center. Penguins read that one well. Good positioning, good read. 3-on-1 the other way. Retzlaff sliding over, didn't have to make a save. Good defense getting back. Now Slaggert as we go end to end. Here's Nadeau going cross ice. Lindgren can't pull the trigger on that one as it was in his skates a little bit. Metsä at the line keeps it in. He sends it to the slot. Lindgren's slick move takes it to the corner in behind the net. Metsä calling for it. Gets it. Fires it off the Penguins player. Far post chance for Nadeau is stopped. He's pinned to the boards by Ananya. And then we get a whistle.
Delay game penalty here.
And delay a game call indeed coming up.
Big opportunity here on the power play for the Sabres to get one back here, hopefully, with 7:55 to go in the third. Zach Metsä, really nice play again.
Big
back here
play
in
front of the net right there.
He's done a lot of nice defensive work throughout the 3 games. I get a Chad Ruedel vibe from Zach Metsä a little bit with him. I mean, similar path also, but just the mobility.
Yeah.
A lot of stick, not overly physical, just steady.
Yeah, but that play coming back, he busted all the way back. And if he didn't come all the way back to the top of the crease to make that play, it's probably in the back of the net. You're down 3-0 at this point. So
there's a look to him that reminds me of just like that smooth defensive execution that I saw from Ruedel in college. But could have a different career outlook.
I forget Chad Ruedel.
He's stuck around just by being pretty steady.
I was going to say he had actually had a decent run with the team you're looking at, right? So Penguins almost got that one in front, looking for Poulin. So Pittsburgh doing a decent job here of taking some time off the clock, and they might do a little bit more as Poulin's going to be first in on the goaltender, Retzlaff. Retzlaff fooled him completely. Down went Poulin, back the other way. Benson, right side entry. Jandrik with him. Nadeau goes to the front of the net. Cedarquist in the slot as well. Metsä, top of the line. Not to be confused with Chad Ruedel. Metsä, pass over to the circle for Benson. Nadeau in front. Backhander goes wide. Jandrik out of the corner tried to backhand it, but Cedarquist is there. Nadeau moves it along to Benson. Metsä up top as an option, has the puck. Near side Jandrik to Metsä. He fires a shot in that one. Careful the glass back there. It broke the other day. Be kind to it. Metsä again. Wide open is Benson as he got a lane. He does for the pass. Nadeau in front. Benson continues to the net. Try to stuff it in. Penguins clear it. Will it get out? No. Kept in by Buffalo. Broken stick for a Penguin on the play, so they're down to 3 with the Q. Metsä for Benson. Benson to the net. As he dishes it off, Metsä's shot, that is blocked. And that's blocked by Poulin, who is without a stick. Poulin looking again to commit if needed for the block. Benson with Poulin diving for that puck with the hands. Metsä plays it to the goal line, Nadeau.
These 4 killers are done. They're dead.
Sabres
gotta hit the net there.
Worst option, yes.
Yeah, that allows a full change. That's a full change allowed for the Pittsburgh Penguins right there just by missing the net.
Good work again by Metsä working the top of the box there on the power play. I mean, he's just a really smart player.
Yeah, no, they did a nice job moving around, but, you know, give Pittsburgh credit here once again. They were very desperate, being very tired by the end, and even before they got set up there for that long period of time. A broken stick, so, you know, it was almost down 2 men because he didn't have a stick. So Sabres good possession, working around the outside. Shot selection right there, just missing the net. Probably wasn't perfect.
Still 11 seconds with the extra skater. Face off outside the Sabres line. Samuel Oud plays it down to the corner. Sabres Kozak trying to get through center. He does. Still with it. Plays it down in around behind the net where the big fella Cole Moberg picks it up for the Penguins. Johnson can't keep it in, but he has possession. Savoie with Johnson stick up, calling for it. Well, the Penguins back to even strength, up 2-0. 5:34 to go in the third period. Sabres have yet to lose in this tournament. Penguins work it down to the corner for Hayes. Delaveau here at the point, can't keep it in. And it's down into the Pittsburgh zone. Bouncing puck, Shirk got a piece of it, but Glover continues with it, but offside called at the Buffalo line. And a chance once again for me to let you know that you can stream games live with MSG Plus this year, free with an eligible TV subscription. Monthly, annual, and pre-game plans are all available. You can check out today msgplus.tv to learn more. In the streaming world, we will be streaming on MSG Plus this year. Face off outside the Penguins line. Slaggert for Buffalo, getting some help here, trying to dig it with Giroux. Lindgren for Novikov. Novikov knocked down on the far boards, gets up, he's open on that left wing side at center. Doesn't get enough to chip it deep, but he's got Shirk following up.
Got to shoot that puck. Got to shoot the puck there. You're down 2, you're running out of time. You get that puck to the net, give yourself at least a 100% opportunity to score a goal.
Giroux plays it to the line. Eventually it's chipped out by the Penguins. Cederquist being hounded as he tries to make the play there by Soto, who continues to dig hard in the corner for the Penguins. Joshua plays it back to the point, and Ratzlaff with the save. Joshua finishing the check on Cederquist down low. And the Penguins backed off now by the rush of Benson. Goaltender for Buffalo is on the bench. Penguins have the puck at center. Joshua, backhand, Panoka intercepted the pass. No penalty on the play. Shot goes off the side of the net, and Metsa leaves it for Panoka. Cannot turn the puck over here as the Sabres carry it up. That goes off of Nadeau. Pass Lee and down into the corner. Fiddler Schultz down there. Penguins come up with it. Calvert plays it ahead. It's a 2-on-1 with the empty net. Joshua, empty net chance off the stick of Panoka, still finds its way into the back of the net, and it's 3-0 Penguins. 3:37 to go in the third. Penguins doing what the Sabres have been doing. Just keep going.
You know, bottom line here is the Pittsburgh Penguins have played a very, very good hockey game here. And the Sabres just haven't been able to get it rolling, get it to that level that they want to play at. And I think it was just a challenge for them for most of the evening here, just trying to get themselves to that point. And when you had 1 or 2 guys going, that third and fourth guy wasn't there. It was, you know, a little more one-on-one out there. You didn't have the D or quite activated as much as you probably would like to. Well, there's a lot of little things went wrong there. They had some good chances, and they just were not able to bury it.
I think taking that penalty early in the period kind of killed some of that momentum that they had. And then they didn't really come to life until they got that power play there.
What you see here in the third period, D jumping up, trying to make things happen a little bit. Probably should have been thinking about that a little bit earlier.
And yes, and that being said, with the D dressing an extra D tonight and then having basically 2 forwards not part of the lineup. One because you dressed the extra D, the other one because of the early injury to Matt Savoy. So asking players maybe to play a little bit out of character, but that's part of the challenge about taking the next step.
That's why it's the Prospects Challenge.
Yeah. Penguins at center ice, so the teams all around the NHL will open camp. Most of them tomorrow. Physicals and then on the ice with full camps. As this tournament gets set to wrap up. And Chris, we've got 2:25 left of actual play happening here, but all in all, just general thought about what you've seen here over 3 games. Or Razor, you want to drop that in before you?
I think it's been very good. You know what? I'm really impressed with the speed of this group. Okay, from bottom line today, whatever. But the first 2 games, the speed, the aggressiveness, the way they get on, they played the game that the Sabres play and want to play. So I think that message got across. And I think the big thing is you're creating that depth. When you're looking at it, man, you got guys now that are going to be in Roch, yes, but you know what? You got guys, more than 2 or 3 guys you're looking at. You got 10, 12 guys now. So that depth has been created. Whether your guys are getting called up, it's not going to leave Rochester short. Guys are going to have a chance as guys move on. You're filling holes that weren't filled before, and I think you got plenty of guys that can do it now. They
have a talented fleet of prospects, especially up front. Guys that can fill different roles up and down the lineup. Whether it's, we're going to talk a lot over the next, really this camp, but also next year's training camp. Matthew Savoy, Yuri Kulik, Isak Rosane. But then you're going to start talking about a Tyson Kozak, who's probably going to be, he might top out as a 3rd line guy at the NHL, but more importantly, maybe a 4th line. Those guys are really important players in the lineup. But it's going to be a very proficient and efficient 4th line player with Tyson Kozak. So the opportunities here, to Razor's point, I think the speed's been noticeable throughout this camp. Not going to over-focus on the result today. To your point, Dan, a lot of guys were put out of position.
Yeah.
Losing probably your fastest firecracker up front in the first minute of play. Certainly put him behind the 8 ball from the get-go.
Lindgren, far circle, Metza fend on the first attempt. Minute 23 to go. Goaltender back in for Buffalo, by the way. Trailing 3-0. No thought of bringing him out again. It looks at this point. Ratzlaff stays there. Ratzlaff playing his 2nd game. He opened up against Montreal. Fleming had himself a really good game the other night for the Sabres against New Jersey.
Sure did.
Yeah. He had certainly a full offensive lineup in front of him too that did their job. But just as you don't get overhyped about a win in these tournaments, you don't get over depressed about, a 3-0 loss in a prospect challenge.
It's mid-September. If there's ever a time to keep your highs low and your lows high, it is.
I'm sure a lot of these guys, some of them who will go right back to junior teams or get ready for school, will not leave with a great taste in their mouth. But that's part of being a competitor, that you want to get back and you want to show next time you're here, your 2nd year of this camp, we're saying that's not going to happen again. Last day, I'm not going home feeling like this. So that's not to say no one's not competed here. I'm just saying it's part of the growth of a player. Penguins full credit for the win here tonight. Sabres a little bit shorthanded, to say the least. But the Penguins are not to have anything taken away for their 3-0 win here against Buffalo, and nor should anything be dismissed with the Sabres' efforts here tonight. And I think in particular, to be honest, I know every night you've said in particular that you go down the lineup and talk about every guy who really dug in. And I think you can say that again tonight. It's not as if you looked out there and thought nobody was not working tonight. I think the work effort was there. You'll hear Seth Appert say. But again, to me, one guy that just stood out, and he should, I guess, being where he was drafted, was Benson, just for where he is all over the ice. You like seeing that from one of your best players, being a leader, where he's not only playing on an offensive side, but he's also maybe the first guy back, as Rob said, and you mentioned too, as a winger even, defending.
I was just going to say, I think that, more importantly with Zach Benson tonight, it was his play defensively that stood out, where the first 2 games, if you were talking about Benson, is what he did in the offensive zone, whether it was setting up Matthew Savoy with a nice loft pass. In the first game, scoring a goal in the second game. Tonight, it was his support of his defenseman from the wing position, cleaning up in front of his own goaltender. And it's a complete player and a guy that's competing all 200 feet of the ice. So you want to see it at such a young age of a player that was selected high. Because when they're not scoring, they still have to be contributing and getting that ice time. And
100%. And the other thing, too, I don't think anybody reads much into this, to be honest with you. If they do, that's fine. But at the end of the day, this is a process of getting the players to Buffalo again together. Process of knowing and learning who the coaching staff members are, because there are 2 new ones. If you were here last year, you've got 2 new assistant coaches already, so you need to start a relationship with them. They need to get to know you, whether it be for Rochester or whether it be even just to stay in touch. So there's so many things that happen here, and I know Kevin Adams would point that out too, as any GM would, that the wins are great. Sabres win 2 out of 3, fantastic. The biggest win you want is that for every player that leaves that room to feel like they're part of something, and that they can't wait to get back to this kind of a moment, or to get to camp for some, or as I say, even if they go back to school, if they go back to their junior club, we already know from a Sabres perspective that the communication between Kevin Adams and his crew in hockey ops will be constant with these players. How you doing? How's it going? You know, talk to him after a game. And Kevin often tells us, I'm off to here to watch this guy play. I'm off to here to see this guy. And then he'll meet us on the road with the big team somewhere. So it's not as if Kevin just rides on the plane and watches the big club. He and his hockey staff are going to all these schools that you watch games as well, and they're talking to the players after the game. So there's a real connect here that I know Kevin speaks about a lot, and for some people it's just a word, but it's real. And I think, you know, it's part of the connection we see with the big club, and that will help when these players do come up eventually. If they get the opportunity to be a Sabre at the NHL level, they'll get it. And then they have to find their way from there. So,
yeah, for the kids that aren't going to be in Rochester this year, Dan, this is the beginning of a journey for them with a Tim Kennedy or an Adam Mayer,
yes.
To your point.
Yeah.
They're getting FaceTime right now. They might not see him again until the first week of December.
Right.
You know, so this is very important. It's critical. I look at a Norwin Panaka, how valuable this week was for him.
Yes.
A German defenseman coming over. He's making a cultural adjustment this year. Going to be playing in Chicoutimi of the Quebec League, playing the first time on this size ice surface in his first NHL environment here. And he was out here late, by the way, with the extra attacker.
I will be watching their games just for that reason.
Yes.
So I'm glad you brought that up, because I'll be very honest, ever since I left the OHL in St. Mike's and Mississauga, there wasn't a lot of time for watching junior hockey when you're on the road. But I'm very interested to see what this young man, who I know has a lot of great tools you've talked about, interested to see what he can do. So obviously you follow your podcast and Chris in the Bunker on YouTube. And then we'll watch some of the games as well. For our entire technical crew here who wish we would sign off, we thank you for your time. We're only going to talk for another hour here and say absolutely every word you never wanted to hear. But for Rob Ray, Brian Duff, Marty Baron, Chris Baker, I'm Dan Dunleavy. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll talk to you from camp, and Sabres preseason hockey is not far away. Good night.